guesting couch. You already know the fucking drill. We got Rem. We got the internet's most eligible bachelor, Justin V. And we got guest host, Cam. It's her 19th birthday, Watson. We might get into this later, but we embarrassed the ever-living shit out of her at Olive Garden tonight.
No,
any one of her friends is not watching this, so I don't even feel bad. But Taylor, you need to give him my boy Justin here. We'll talk about it later. I'll be less graphic than it was 10 minutes ago.
Where are we starting at?
I don't know, but I gotta poop, so I'm gonna go do that.
Wow.
All right, well.
Always keep your sphincter clear. couch. I'm done pooping. All right, so.
Can we get some light in here?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We're gonna be alright. Yeah. It's a little dark.
Well, let's just say we'll start it off with a little bit of.
Oh no!
A little bit of Fred on the screen.
God, I'm holding Justin in my palm. Yeah, I mean it's accurate. It's honestly accurate. That's why I get bothered by it.
How shiny is it today?
I don't like that you spend time on it.
Shiny
Don't touch the freaking hat, Justin. Unbelievable. The things I do for you.
This is just an every Wednesday thing. That's how we started right here.
Just call it blunt ball.
Basically.
King Neptune casting it. Alright, so my big talk, alright.
Where's the TV?
Y'all already know the deal with the seasons, alright? We just passed October, we're going into November now, past Halloween. So to every white girl on the fucking planet, Christmas is tomorrow. And in the spirit, I was thinking while having the glorious doo-doo that I just had, I was thinking the worst, like we're gonna go top and worst, best and worst, like desserts or candies, anything.
Can I ask
for the holidays, like holiday related.
I have a question for Cam.
All right.
At what point do you switch from pumpkin into the Christmas themed coffee?
November 1st.
Ah, okay.
Whenever Starbucks puts out those red cups, am I right? Am I right?
Well, Starbucks, the only thing solid there is the peppermint hot chocolate.
That's actually pretty solid. I like their white mocha though.
I'm not a peppermint fan. I don't like peppermint.
I get iced white mocha, double shot of espresso.
White mocha,
that'll make your fucking shit up real quick.
Yeah, that's pretty good. But going back to what you were saying, what were you talking about?
top and worst like holiday or festive snacks and candies. Cause I despise candy corn. I don't give a shit how many of you are actually watching this or may watch it later. I hate candy corn.
Hate it too.
Fucking hate it. It should be eradicated from the earth. There's nothing about it that's tasty.
I threw up from it.
See? She threw up from it. It causes throw up.
She throws up from gagging.
She throws up from thinking too hard.
When you were a kid and you went trick-or-treating, what was the one candy you wanted from everybody?
Dude, I'm
Reese's.
See, you guys like the chocolate. I'm a massive like fruit fan, like Twizzlers or like sour Skittles. Oh,
I'm a big Sour
Patch Kids. The big Sour Patch Kids that are like individually wrapped. Oh my god.
Nobody told you to be a fruitcake.
It's a game changer.
What are you looking for back there?
His remote.
Oh.
We lost Remy already. We're 3 minutes in. Remy's out. What's new?
What?
Oh no! They can see my face.
Don't do that.
I hate it.
I
hate it. I'm really this fat. I know you guys are probably wondering to yourselves, hey, Fred, are you really that fat? Comment, smash, subscribe. Yes.
We're all
absolutely. You should have seen how much. What did I get at Olive Garden? What did I get?
I don't fucking know.
Chocolate lasagna or something.
Chocolate lasagna.
After I saw Remy almost die and choking on soup. This shit was amazing.
Jesus.
I don't like the slide on. I feel exposed.
Yeah, you know.
You're gonna be alright. You'll make it.
Ew, guys.
Alright, so obviously candy corn's out. Come on, hit me with some. What do we got? I'm rotating because the captain needs his chair.
Sour. What you think?
Remy's gonna get back over here.
What do you think about the sour gummy one?
Find the fucking TV remote.
It's probably up your ass.
Wow.
Hey,
how about I just bend over and you check it for me?
Oh, damn.
Jesus.
I haven't heard any answers.
Sour gummy worm.
Yeah, you said for Halloween. I'm talking festive. I want all the way around.
Festive?
Yeah, like Christmas. Sorry, you'll get over it.
Like I don't like peppermint.
Like Thanksgiving. All right. We'll lead into it. I didn't focus it down enough. I can't leave Justin with options. This is what happens. Thanksgiving Day food. Favorite item.
Stuffing.
I gotta go
Squash. Butternut squash.
Are you
Ham and green bean casserole.
Yeah.
Green bean casserole is fucking
That's
gas. My mom makes a killer green bean.
I don't fuck with it's right behind the keyboard.
Mashed potatoes and gravy though. I am a sucker for mash and gravy.
What about dessert? What's your favorite dessert on?
I'm a cheesecake guy. All fun day. My uncle makes cheesecakes. Oh
cheesecake.
god, hell yeah.
Pecan.
Hell yeah. You can have your chair back. I didn't want to
Where's the cat? I heard it.
You can sit in my lap if you want to.
Oh, can I? I can be
that.
that fucking specific.
Hell yeah!
I'm a big pumpkin pie guy with whipped cream.
See, I'm weird about. All right, like this is gonna sound like some serial killer shit, but I have to talk. When I do like pies, like it doesn't matter what it is. It could be like an Oreo, it could be a cheesecake. I hate the crust, like the graham. Like you know how most of them do like the graham cracker base.
Well,
you know
guys, we have anybody who wants to help us out.
Shit.
There is a serial killer in the making in my house. I gotta go.
I'm about to eat all his pie. Swear to God.
And just leave the crust?
Big facts. You can have the crust. It's nasty. There's no flavor.
I'm about to eat his ass too.
Oh.
That's for our R-rated show later on. No,
yeah,
we don't have
that's,
an
that's
R-rated
after
show.
10 o'clock.
Yeah, that's when it gets real late. When I say I gotta go home, I'm really going next door. He's usually asleep, so he doesn't even know what's going on. It's really weird. Anyway,
This is by Bill Cosby show, right?
big facts. No, for real though. You mentioned like 3 or 4 things this
For
week.
what? What did we
Early on this week.
Yeah,
You said,
he said-
remember?
Oh.
We
Oh.
mentioned the election. I'm sure you all know
Barstool-
what's going on with that.
Barstool Halloween.
Barstool Halloween. There it is. Is this connected to the screen?
Not gonna
now?
lie, I saw it on Twitter.
So
and
again,
I'm
you
going
know,
I'm going to Buzz Lightyear, bro.
you know, our casting couch hosts are big into this Barstool stuff. So, what was a Halloween costume?
Yep, Halloween.
I can't spell for shit. How do you Halloween?
Are
There
you
it is.
good?
Halloween
Jeez.
contest. There it is. It's already there. Holy shit, that got great.
Control. There you go.
Alrighty, here we go. We're gonna go ahead and put our 2 cents on what they got going on.
Was she Kim Kardashian?
A whole lot going on. This isn't the number one I saw earlier today
I can't
though.
see.
There was
Oh,
2 that
hello.
in the running at the top, but I can't remember. Is this an old one? Is this an old
No,
post?
that's 10.
10/19. So this is a month old though. I need the new one because they put a thing out on Barstool. Oh, we have a winner. So here we go, and it should be
Spider-Man.
Ooh, I ended up following her because I'm a scrub and I have nothing better to do with my time. But yeah, so this Barstool every year puts out a top. I don't even know. They just
But
do.
scroll down a little bit.
Yeah. Oh no, we're gonna go through the list. We
I
gotta give the
know-
people the list.
I know the Buzz Lightyear girl's on there.
Buzz Lightyear
And
chick.
she,
Alright,
and she winning.
let me slide out.
What do you mean? That girl won though.
No, she winning for me.
Oh, for you.
For me.
She's cute as heck though. It's hard to find a little. You know,
Yeah.
All right.
It's carpet
But
master.
this is the actual declared winner.
Yeah.
So if you can't read or you don't speak English, she is the declared winner. And then there was another one with her tits out. There we go. That's number 2 right there. I don't know how far this goes. There she is. That's number 2. Really putting it in for this contest. I think the winner gets like $10,000 or something, or $1,000 or something. I mean, it's decent money if you're a college chick. I don't know how old these girls are, honestly.
Well, that's just your basic Playboy.
Yeah,
Nah,
that's
no,
basic.
I think this is creative, honestly, and this is creative. That's why it won. But well, I mean, Spider-Man not so much, but one pulling off. Is that the
There
one
we
you're talking
go.
about?
That's the Buzz Lightyear.
Did you guys just see
Buzz
Remy
Lightyear.
drool a little bit? Because that's exactly what just happened.
Buzz Lightyear's got.
Where do you even find these, dude? Last time I
pretty
got
sure
it,
that just
my
came out of
Buzz
like-
Lightyear costume didn't look like this. Are you kidding me right now? Where's her string? What string do you pull?
Yeah, what did she say?
Unbelievable.
I can imagine Fred's Buzz Lightyear costume as a kid.
No, what pisses me off is I'm older, right? So these are probably like freshmen in college. Like what? You know what I looked like in college? I looked like a kid
The
that's
same
gonna
thing you
blow
look
up
like
a
today.
gym. Yeah, like pimples everywhere. Like, hi, I'm Fred. And then you got these motherfuckers running around like they own the place, and they do. What is that? Star Wars?
Yeah.
Not bad. This one got me. Guys, tasteful underboob is severely underrated. It's not talked about enough. This is refreshing. No nipples, just enough tit. And then look, we support Shell gas stations. That's what that is. That's a commercial logo.
I don't think that's the actual logo. I
And
think
that's not.
just a
It's
show.
absolutely a seashell, but for comedic content, that is Exxon. No, it's not bad. I mean, I think that's pretty good.
What?
I don't know what's going on here, but I dig the frown. Is that a Michael Scott? Is that what that is?
That might be.
I think it is.
Yeah, that's Michael Scott when he was doing like the hardcore parkour.
Yeah. I think
There
so.
it is.
Oh my god. All right. Is that the one you're talking about? Like,
Yeah, that's Woody.
What Woody are you talking about?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
that's 2 with tits that are bigger than I've ever
No,
seen in my life.
Buzz is underneath, I think.
Oh.
No, that's not. Just keep
That's-
going until you
that's not
find
bad.
Buzz. Buzz is the only one that's relevant.
That's,
Oh,
that's
look, some other dude's losing his fucking mind over this too. Will it play audio if I play this?
Yeah.
I want to hear his input.
Lies, scandals, cheating, hatred. This is the story of the 2020 Barstool Smoke Show's Halloween contest. So every year the Barstool Smoke
Oh
Show
yeah,
uses
there's
a
rumors
camera
about
to
buying likes. So the most liked
the
video
most
wins.
likes on her costume photo wins $1,000. Heading into the home stretch, there are only 2 girls with a real chance of winning. We have red-headed Spider-Man, Caitlin Christine, and we have Poppy Floppy, who is dressed as a scary monster.
That's legitimate her name. Like, I
Now,
don't know.
Spider-Man noticed random big boosts of likes on Poppy Floppy's photo, so she decided to do some investigating. She discovered that some recent likers of Miss Floppy's photo had never even seen the post, but that they did sign up for some like buying app called Like for Like. Poppy Floppy denies buying any likes and says she ran a grassroots campaign using her loyal loyal fan base and by reaching out to larger accounts for shoutouts.
Sounds like Biden. Okay.
So we had a full-blown war. Ultimately, Spider-Man won anyway and is donating her money to charity. God bless him.
She's donating it to charity because she knows she's going to be able to go far in life with her looks. Congratulations to Spider-Woman. Also, congratulations to Remy, who nutted 4 times while cycling through this whole thing. This toys going out.
We gotta find the
toys
right.
coming out.
We gotta find the right buzz. That's not the right buzz.
That's
no,
it.
but it was somewhere
on the
else.
whole list. I gotta find like the whole
No,
list.
just type it in. Buzz Lightyear Barstool costume.
But there's got to be a list of the whole 100, dude. I don't like I'm scared. Yeah, I didn't think that was gonna go the way I wanted. Anyway,
We have major
I don't know if we're gonna find it, my guy.
mental.
Oh yeah, boy. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Like, what the fuck is this? How
That's
come?
Dr.
How come?
Evil.
How come I don't get to leave my nuts out, but these girls can have their crap flaunted? Unbelievable. How are you supposed to tell how big my junk is in this? It's unacceptable. Fix
Well,
it.
if it was big enough, it would hang out of the
HalloweenCostumes.com.
skirt.
Fix it. What was it?
So if it was big enough, it'd hang out of the skirt.
You're probably right.
But it's
Probably
not.
right,
So
but it's not. I'm just talking hypothetical.
Yeah.
It'd be like that. Anyway, what else did you bring up? Politics. Actually, you know what? I am going to hop in on this because it is a hot topic and it is interesting. I'm pretty sure they show Biden at 260 something right now. 264, 214. They're already declaring Biden pretty much going to get Michigan. If he gets Nevada, it's over.
He already got Michigan. Michigan's done.
Michigan's locked. If he does get Nevada, which they anticipate will happen, it is pretty much over.
Yeah, but he has to get Nevada before Trump gets Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia.
I mean, it is what it is. It looks like. I mean, I'm not going to say it's inevitable. It's going to come down. It's probably one of the closest races I've watched in a while now. One of the biggest things right now.
Well,
I don't know.
look up the 2016 because this is exactly how it played out when Hillary ran and Trump stood on.
Well, I just find that it's definitely historical, historically consistent. I don't know how many of you guys paid attention, like Al Gore paid attention to pieces on Al Gore and Bush back in the day. There was like a county in Florida that didn't turn in their ballots and it swung it to Bush and they actually declared Gore the winner. Then they re-declared Bush the winner. It was crazy. I don't know if I read up on that properly.
Look at the election map of 2016 and then open up a new tab and do the 2020 election map.
I mean, that's pretty damn spot on, dude.
Look at the election map for 2020.
You can.
It's literally. I mean, it's absurdly identical.
No. Oh my goodness.
What do you want? I'm doing it the old version way. Let me be.
Let me do it.
Untouched stuff. Boo. Just kidding. Yeah, but now. Oh, I thought our faces were gonna cover it, but yeah, I mean, it's literally identical. So that's actually an insane call out. I did not know that. Although Arizona did swap.
Arizona switched.
That's it. It's literally it. Oh, Wisconsin.
And Michigan and Wisconsin.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it might be a little bit uneducated to say, but me and Remy were talking on our way back from dinner because we took 2 vehicles because I can't sit in a car with Justin. And the thing was, it's like I'm okay with people making educated votes and educated decisions, but I know way too many kids, in low 20s. I don't like Trump, or I don't like this, or my family says I should vote for this. It's just nobody's making educated decisions. Biden is a career politician. If you've watched what he's done in politics and you agree with his stances, by all means, vote for who you agree with. I'm never going to knock anybody for voting for who they believe in, but you got to have a legitimate reason for voting for who you vote for. So if you went out and voted this year, I appreciate that.
I do have one thing to say.
What do you got?
If you didn't vote and you don't like the person that wins the election, you have no say. You really can't say anything about it.
If you didn't vote, you don't have an opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
I 100% agree.
Like if you're eligible to vote and you didn't vote, because obviously there's 16-year-olds that have an opinion about
that can't vote.
But if you are eligible to vote and you don't vote and you are upset with the way the election goes,
That's on you, dog.
That's on. Yeah, that is really on you.
That's on you, coach.
I don't disagree. And the thing is, again, I'm just going off of my experiences and what I see and hear on the daily. And I hear things like, oh, it doesn't affect me, I'm not going to vote, or it doesn't do this, I'm not going to vote. It doesn't. It is a civil liberty and a civil option for you. You could completely. We live in America. You're not forced at gunpoint to a poll and to make a decision. If you're not comfortable making one, don't make one. But again, you have to respect the outcome of your decision. If you're not going to vote, you don't have the right to complain about the way things are going. You had a chance to make a say, and you didn't. And I don't know. This stuff gets me really fired up, even though it's not going to make a difference in my life, honestly. I'm going to work tomorrow and the next day, and I'm going to enjoy my holidays, my family. Nothing's going to change. But I'm tired of the BS arguments, honestly, is what it is for me. If you're going to vote for who you want, vote for who you want. But do it intelligently. Do your homework. Do your due diligence and make an educated decision. Don't be a puppet. Don't, so-and-so told me to vote so-and-so. Or, everybody seems to vote this way. I'm going to vote this way. Do your homework. I mean, our age, we're sitting on the computer all the freaking time. Just look stuff up.
You got it.
I don't have it.
What you got?
I swear I don't have it in my bag.
There's about to be a murder in here.
There's about to be
What are y'all looking for?
Scrap.
He's like losing shit and he blaming it
It'd
on
be
me.
like that.
I'm gonna lose my damn mind here.
I'm going on rants over here. I have no input. I don't want to like.
No, I agree with a lot what you're saying though, in the sense like.
Maybe if
But like
people-
honestly though, what have you seen? Have you heard what I'm hearing? Am I wrong here?
I know a lot of people that vote because vote the way their family votes or vote the way that their friends vote just because like they're like, oh, like they don't want to do any research or anything like that, and that truly like kind of bothers me because they like when you ask them like, oh, like why are you voting for this person, they have no reason to back it up other than the sense that their family told them to
But
vote.
and that's kind of like that's what I'm building on though. Is like I would rather you say like I'm voting for Trump because he's a businessman. Like at least whether it's right or wrong,
say something other than my
it's
family.
accurate. It's
say
not.
Yeah.
It's not a
No,
bought.
I
opinion,
agree with you. I agree.
You
with
know?
you. Say something other than because my family is voting this way.
Right, or because everybody I've seen this and or I like his name. I don't like the way he talks. Doesn't matter how your fucking president talks. Both of let me make this abundantly clear. These two are the worst public speakers I have ever witnessed in my entire life. I did vote for Trump in the first election. I did vote for him in this, but I don't mind either way. Again, I'm not like utterly anti-Biden. Whatever the country votes for, I get it. But I just will tell you that if you voted for them because they're good speakers, you need to go back to school because it is painful to listen to these two talk.
I truly believe if you ever have a chance, get a chance to look up like Biden or Obama speak. Obama is one of the best speakers I've ever seen.
But that's also what I feel sold him on his election.
Oh no,
now,
100%. He's obviously not our greatest president.
He had great core values.
He did.
I believe fully in what he was trying to do. It didn't go the right way, but Obama was a phenomenal speaker. He had great ideas. I mean, I don't, I supported him. I had no issue.
I think, but I think you're correct when you say the way he spoke and the way he addressed people and the way
it was moving.
It was very moving and very like when you hear this guy speak, oh, I can get behind that,
It just felt strong. Like everything he said felt strong.
When Obama was president, he was a game changer because he was the icon.
That's true.
He was like Jackie Robinson.
I'm not saying that he wasn't, but he handled it well too. You know
that's what I'm saying. He took all the negative that came at him and turned it positive.
But he was a very, very well educated man. Obama is not in the moral, I wouldn't say moral, educated spectrum of Trump or Biden. I refuse to believe that. No. Now I will also say that,
But if you think about it, the country. What is the president's job? What does the president do?
To be a face and to be So I mean,
but what is the president's prime? Like, look at.
I don't know which way you're going with. What
the president's like prime responsibility, like what he does as.
You're never gonna get a clear cut answer.
There's never a clear cut.
But what I'm saying is he has control of the military.
With House and Senate backing,
everything else, other than a few minuscule things. He has no more power than anybody else.
No, it's a face of the nation. It's a representation. I mean, but that's another thing that it bothers me is people are all like here, just hear me out on this argument. People are like Trump can't speak. The way he talks about women is insensitive. I'm not disagreeing with any of this. But understand the man's background. He was a private business owner. The dude was on WWE. I don't think up until he became president, he thought he was going to be president. You know what I'm saying? Your background kind of follows you. I think that
what I'm saying is that he's getting knocked for things that
he can't control.
Me and you or me, you, and Justin, if we go out to the golf course, we're gonna do the exact same
So
thing.
Yeah.
can
But that's my point,
can I
because it's
give-
in his past.
can
But
I-
he's always talked like this. He's always acted like this. This
So-
is not like Trump got in presidency and was like,
So-
like, you know?
So, the way I see it from both ways. I see it as you have the face of a country saying like these things. Like you have to put him on a higher standard of what he says than anybody else. Like I understand
Politically correct is a
exactly.
crime.
Exactly. I understand this man is not the most like politically like politician like person in the world because he doesn't have a politician background, but at the same time, like being the face of the country, you have to be kind of held to a higher standard of what you say, where you say things,
I believe that.
what is heard from you.
But do you go off of a higher standard of the time that you're in office or your entire life?
I think I'm saying that in this particular case has been skewed. In the past,
It
it is
is.
the past is the past. This is the president. But you've also never elected a non-career politician before. You understand what I'm saying? Honestly.
Yeah.
And I'm not, and I don't want it to seem like, I'm trying to play both sides. You know, I think it's fair. I'm not knocking Biden. I just personally didn't push in that direction. But I'd also, in this particular election, seems like the country just wants a new face. Like, almost like
Well, let's put it this way.
they just need a refresh.
Let's say it comes time, we're 40 years old, you run for president.
Yeah, I'm gonna run for president.
All right, well, let's just let's say Justin runs
The
for
amount of
president.
shit that
He
was
seems
Why
like
do I wanna run?
no, you're out of the
Yeah, I
question.
know. I've
Yeah.
seen you try to
Whoa.
get.
Out of the
I've seen her handle fake birthdays at Olive Garden.
Yeah.
She can't do public speaking. That's no.
She can't do public at all.
Yeah.
But anyway, so let's put it this way. Let's say Justin runs for president in 40 years.
Right.
And let's say he's on one side that I don't like, and some random girl that he didn't sleep with comes back and says something else like, oh, he did this. He can't be held responsible for that when he was 23 years old. You can't be held responsible at 40 years old for something you did at 23.
Well, but it's almost like these video like YouTube, right? Like he comes on and he's like, let's say he goes right now, we're having this conversation. He goes, I'm pro Trump. And then in 40 years, he runs as a Democratic nominee for president. They'd be like, look at his values back when he was 20. He said he was a Republican. He voted. You know what I mean? Like,
So
that's the world we live in. They drum up the dirt.
The issue I see,
And it's less politics.
I think the issue with this election versus any other election is how far Trump was willing to go when he was like debating Biden. I think you saw him go like more attack Biden than you saw them actually debate. Like you see like when it was like Obama versus
McCain or whatever. Back
whoever
in the
he
day.
was going
Even
for.
Trump, I think.
I think it was even then. There was more of an actual debate on their policies, what they believed in, instead of bringing up like
Moral
families.
issues, almost like common household issues.
Exactly. And so I think that's what you see. That's the problem. A lot of this is not. It's more of along the lines of like, oh, I like this person more over
Almost
this
like a
person.
popularity.
Exactly. That's what I see it more as, and then a actual political standpoint, because there are like I'm registered independent, so I
agree. I'm
I
saying.
vote both ways sometimes, but because I see there are things from Republican
That you
views that
agree
I
with.
agree with, and there are things from a Democratic views that I agree with, and when you get into the point where you get these people that are so far right or so far left that it's kind of like it's my way or the highway, that's where I see the problem is on both sides. I think
that was the main issue in this election, is that they were so far in opposite directions that they had no common ground at all.
No, I am going to inject on this because my problem with this election that I spoke about on my Snap story, I think it's vital, is, you talk to, like, go home, talk to your parents, call your parents, I swear to God, grandparents, anything, like, just trust me on this. The world used to be delivered in a different fashion, okay? Like, my mother brought up the name, now I've never even seen this man broadcast, but, like, old names, like, I'm sure you've heard the name, Walter Cronkite, okay? Mm-hmm. Back in the day, it was like 7 o'clock, the news would come on, he would lay down who, what, when, where, why, end of story, make your own assumptions, this is the facts, right? And we live in a modern era now where our president can come on the TV, declare war against media networks, and then those media networks fire back because they're media networks. And I find that just so ridiculous, dude. I just, Like, I was watching it earlier, and I watched 3 different news networks putting out 3 different electoral totals on each president.
Who do you believe?
Like, what's the real answer? Just give me a real answer.
Give me a.
You're supposed to be unbiased, and I make my own assumptions. Not you get
You're
biased.
supposed to give me the actual numbers so that I can kind of know. Like
no one knows what's going on. No one knows
what's-
right now.
no
They're
one knows
saying that you ask certain, like CNN, they're going to say, oh, Biden won North Carolina. It's undecided. It's not official by any means. And they're already, certain networks are saying it's him. Certain networks are saying it's Trump. I don't understand when, like, news and like, just common outlets became so opinionated.
Untruthful.
It's not even that. They put their own opinions in there because they're all backed by, like, you know, like these major corporations are like lobbying for money and they're invested in politics. So I don't know, man. It's just so far deep. But you can't even give me. If I asked you right now what the electoral total is right now, you like literally. I think maybe like 2 hours ago before I went to dinner, it was still in flux. Now it's a little bit more. They're starting to round up the ballot, so it's a little bit more definitive. But I mean, honestly, 3 to 5 hours ago, you could not tell me who won Michigan, and yet I think there were 3 news networks saying that it's Biden, it's Trump, it's Biden, it's Trump. So I like, especially now, dude. I'm just gonna wrap my segment or my portion of this up with this. I'm done. Like, once I see who actually won presidency and they come on and they declare and somebody concedes,
don't talk to me about politics.
I don't need to. I'm not watching CNN. I'm not watching, like, it's evident. CNN goes Democratic. Fox News goes Republican. I just want straight facts. Let me figure out the rest.
I stopped looking. Whenever I look at the news, I stopped looking at any United States like news.
You know,
network.
I've actually heard that, like BBC and all that. They put out like very interesting.
If you look at BBC, like any place overseas that talk about the United States, it's going to be a little biased.
But they're also stepped away from it.
Whether they like us or hate us, it's going to be whether they like us or hate us. But the majority of the facts and the details in that story they write is going to be truthful because they're from an outside source.
So like last night, I voted for Trump, okay? But last night I watched CNN till like 5:30 this morning.
I had to work, so I didn't get a chance to watch the post-election results. But hit me with
just because I sat there and I was like, okay, well, CNN's obviously the Democratic side.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I was like, okay, so if it's gonna be one way, I'm gonna see it on the other person's side so that I can get a better image and be able to bounce back and forth between
networks, essentially.
Not networks. I stayed on CNN the whole time, but I mean, I could make up my own opinion based off of what they were saying.
Mm.
But even on CNN, they were saying like some positive things about Trump. They were saying negative things about Biden, and vice versa. They were saying positive things about Biden, negative things about Trump, and it was all just like. But you could tell which way they were leaning by their original cast of where they had Biden winning. Like, they had Biden win in North Carolina, but North Carolina's not decided.
It's not.
But they had Biden win in, like, a bunch of other. They had Biden win in Arkansas.
Mm.
But and this right here, Google, which is not even.
You can exit out of 2016 and make it full screen.
But like, still, they're not even like.
But even this, like, hear me out. But like, even this, look, Associated Press. This is a third media outlet, and I'm not knocking that. It gives you availability, but I just
how truthful is this?
You don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
you
just
don't
saying
know.
you genuinely
That's
don't. I'm not knocking
thing.
it. Like, you need to watch something to get an idea.
Either way, no matter what this says right here, if Biden gets his last.
If he gets Nevada, it's over.
If he gets his last 6 votes, that still doesn't mean anything until everything's done. Another way,
so
because all of these states right here that are right now,
I don't think even if Trump got these 3 and he got the 4th, that Trump could still win. I don't know that. I don't know how that works. I don't know what each state gets.
Let's say Michigan, right? Because this year it went completely different, so there were mail-in ballots too.
Well, hang on. Here it is. We can kind of do a little bit. I'm not good with math, so y'all are gonna learn how shitty I am with math.
So can I ask a question?
What do we got left? Hear me out though.
This is kind of political. Like,
it's not even saying North Carolina is 15 votes alone.
Since you're for Trump, and I most of you guys know I voted for Biden. Why? So Trump, like, as the election was getting closer, kind of was fully against mail-in ballots.
This is a very tricky situation. This whole thing is.
I understand, but can you let me?
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I apologize.
He was very against mail-in ballots, and then he was like, oh, like, you should vote for me in person. This whole, like, vote in person if you can. And now, like, when they were counting ballots, like, most of the ballots that are coming in are blue because of what he said to go vote red in person, and he, I guess, is calling, like, fraudulent on that stuff. So, like, how that to me is just not logical in any I'm a very logical person. You said A, people did A, so therefore B is going to the ballots there are going to be more blue because of what you said. And so how do you dispute? My question is as a president, how can you dispute something that you said and didn't happen?
Well, this is kind of where the media comes back into play again, and I am tweaking in that way because I heard the same story with a different fashion. I've heard that every ballot that has come in, now granted, I don't know how true this is because you don't fucking know it's true anymore, truthfully.
Yeah.
And I just don't, when I was leaving the house today to come up here for dinner, I was being told that, and I was watching news outlets that were projecting that every ballot that was coming in was blue. And unpostmarked and unregistered and everything. So it's not that it was 80% blue or 70% Democratic. It was every single ballot coming in was only Democratic votes. I can't speak to the truth of this, but that was my understanding. That's what got him enraged. And I can see a sense of what? No, I also get what you're saying. If they did all go out in person, then you're going to get the Democratic vote in mail-in.
I don't know. I didn't hear anything about how much exactly it is.
I don't know what's true and what's
not. You
got
to think about it is that those mail-in ballots, what's stopping Justin from coming home, bringing that mail-in ballot, taking it to the copy machine and making 100 copies and sending in 100.
Truthfully.
What's stopping that?
The other thing that truthfully bothers me too,
address.
and I genuinely want to go around the room, and I know you've been quiet, but I want to hear your thoughts on this. I don't know if it's a state or federal mandate that you don't need a driver's license to cast a vote. I don't know where this is a really tricky line for me.
I voted in person. I walked in. I told
I didn't
them
have
my
to show
name.
ID.
I didn't have to show ID. I'm like, my mom.
You say your name and your address, and then you sign a paper, and then I did early voting, so you you do the name, address, sign the paper, and then you fill out a ballot and submit it. I could have been anybody.
Yeah, I could have been anybody. You said my fucking name.
If I go on Facebook, I can read my fucking address and say who I am. You have no idea validating.
Exactly. Why?
Is this information correct? You didn't ask me. You presented it. All I got to do is sign.
So my question.
It just seems super fishy, dude. All the way around.
So my question is why we're giving everyone's giving a social security number. Back in the day, my mom always said, when they were in
school... That's the one thing you never give away. That was your cardinal fucking...
But that was, but that's that they used for, everything. College, their social security number was, how you signed up for classes and shit.
Everything.
Everything.
That's how you get anything.
And
house loan, anything. They run your credit.
Why don't we use that more? Everyone's got their own certain number.
I'm not even going that far. I know, and this is a very, very tricky topic, and I know we're kind of covering this a lot, but, it's a really tricky topic because, there are illegal immigrants in this country that they work very hard and stay out of things. And it's such a weird topic, but I truly believe that you should produce some fashion of showing citizenship. Because if you do it the right way, you either have a visa. I don't care if you have a visa. I don't care what you have. Something to show that you're formally here. And you're a legitimate United States citizen, you have the right to vote.
And you're proving
and if you left it at home, then go home and get it. But I do not support that at all. I truly believe anything. I don't care if it's birth certificate, showing you're born here, nothing. Any kind of document. It doesn't have to be a social security number, license. I don't care what it is. That's the part that bothers me, dude.
That you can show up, be who,
I can claim to be anybody I want.
Yeah, you can look up someone on Facebook, look up their address.
Yeah, my name's Jeffrey Dahmer. I live right down the road.
332, Twisted Trio Drive.
Exactly.
Bam, and then I sign this, and then I cast my vote, and you don't even know who I am.
I don't know.
That's dumbfounding.
I think there are a lot of issues in the terms of things that we need IDs for versus things that we don't need IDs for.
Dude, it's honestly insane.
It's insane to me.
Well, I'm going to cut in on that too. I saw a comedy segment that honestly cracked me up. I don't know who made this joke, but it was hilarious. It was you need a license to shampoo pets in this country, but you don't need to show any form of identification to vote. To be a commercial dog shampooer, you need a certificate or a license, but you don't need anything to vote.
It's saying I need an ID to go buy a cigarette, but...
Right.
Now, I don't want to go far off topic, but in my history class, I had to look at the whole Saddam Hussein assassination and what kind of went on into the government with that. And even then, we were told
in what regards? In the Middle East, how they handled it, or how it was handled in the States?
How it was handled in the States.
Okay.
So, long story short, the whole war was based off of a false document that the president read. And so like every day the president gets like a letter of like what's going on in the world, you know, what's happening, and someone falsified something on the document which led to us going to war with Iraq and the whole war.
Well, wasn't that the whole WMD thing? They said that we had
they had weapons of mass destruction and we never found anything
Right.
over there. And that's the whole. So to me, like.
But there's a lot more to that. I mean, I don't know how much they discussed, but I thought that had a huge thing to do with like oil and sustainability in that
We
region.
can talk about conspiracy theories all day.
But
Yeah, for
to
real,
me,
honestly.
so to me, like when I watched it, I was like, how does the top level security, the CIA, allow something like this that's going to the president, the face of the country, be a lie?
Because, dude, but
What
it's
do you-
all.
what do you
I
not-
mean, it's all lies.
But what do you like? How, are you not checking your sources? Are you
We
not?
really, I mean, it's tough to really get in that. I'm
But
not
it's
disagreeing
like-
with you, but look at, I mean, again, I know this is kind of like, I'm showing me one-sided, but like, you look at the whole, like, Benghazi or the Hillary Clinton, like, the email thing, you're a massive public figure. How do 30,000 emails vanish? Like, there are so many, like, conspiracy theories we can really get into, it's just not.
I mean, even sitting there, like, we only know that there was nothing found because they didn't tell us anything was
Right.
found.
Yeah.
Like, none of
You
us...
have to believe
None
what's
of us
given
were
to you.
sitting
That's
there.
what I'm saying. Like in today's world, we have to believe everything we're told. Like think about it. Like we could go as deep as how do we know what we're saying means what we're saying?
That's some high shit.
Yeah.
I'm not on enough
I'm
drugs.
not enough drugs.
I've
for
been
that
there.
shit.
I've been blitzed enough to be able to have that conversation, but I'm not
not right
there.
now.
But I'm just saying, like, we live in a world where a 15-year-old can edit pictures, videos. There's nothing concrete that can't be tampered with nowadays.
And the thing that
next
scares
Wednesday's the Cheech and Chong edition. Where
Yeah,
shit
we're
stoned
gonna
out of
get
our minds
blitzed, and we'll just, dude. I will laugh for 85% of the time, and the dumbest shit you'll ever hear will come out for the other 15%. I promise you. But yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I'm with you on every aspect of
it's
that.
a scary time because like how do you know what you see on the internet is true?
You just don't, dude. You literally just don't. You have to, and I guess that's my point, and that's why I come back even full circle.
That's why I
Be
don't go out.
educated in your decisions.
That's why I don't go
No,
out.
you don't
Go
go
watch-
out.
go
You
watch-
don't go
Why you
out
go
for
out.
several
Yeah,
reasons.
that's
I-
whoa.
We can get into that topic.
Yeah, let's
Whoa,
get
whoa,
into
whoa, whoa,
that
whoa.
one. Let's go into that one.
Like,
Alright, what do y'all
I
want to
say
know?
we do.
Hit me with the questions. Just
so
ask.
like, why don't you go out?
I
Is
don't
the
like
real
people.
question. Well, people
Justin,
like
what do you
you,
have
but, like,
against
they're still
Taylor,
out.
Justin? Tell us what's
Let's
wrong
talk about
with Taylor.
Taylor.
She's 16. I'm
Age
23.
of consent.
Okay, no, we're not going there.
Yeah.
That's just asking for like 9
I just
Alright.
like stirring the pot.
Alright.
Yeah, no, this will be like confiscated by somebody.
Right.
Justin will be in jail for 4
The
years.
FBI's gonna knock on my front door. And be like, is Justin Valanche in here?
Let me put it on record that Justin
Say
B
so, goddamn.
has never been
You know how many girls are in
with
the
Taylor.
world? My full name is on the fucking
So-
screen.
So
There's about 2 reasons I don't go out. One,
You're
I'm
poor.
a lazy fuck.
clearly.
2, I just don't like people.
Okay, so
I don't like people, but I hang
go
out with them nuts. Yeah, what do you mean?
What'd you say?
What?
I just think the
I said I
amount
don't like
of
people, but I hang out with your
the average IQ in the world today has probably in the last decade, the average IQ probably has dropped 30
It's
points.
not IQ, it's laziness. We live in a world where everything is at your fingertips, and if you have to go one step further, you're not doing it.
Just be
Tell me I'm
fucked up
wrong.
all the time.
You're not wrong, but like at the same
Oh,
time,
you have to press the home button on your iPhone? Apple drops a thing where you can fucking look at your screen and it does it for you. I mean, we live in a world where you do nothing. You do nothing. And extra
I
steps
still
are
go
things
back
people
to the
don't
I
want
still
to
go
expend.
back to the Wall-E people.
The
That's
Wall-E!
that is going to be us in
Wall-E.
like 40 years. You're gonna see us fucking in these seats.
Yo,
in
hang
these
on, hang on,
gamer
hang on.
seats,
I gotta do this.
fucking driving
I want to
around.
hear.
Already
I
like
want to
that.
hear Wally say his name.
You never leave your fucking chair.
I at least do stuff on my computer.
Hang on, I want to. I want to hear this. Hold on.
Oh my god, you sit on the computer.
Ooh. I love that shit. Do it again. How do I start this shit over? Do it again.
It's called rewind.
Do it again. This is Justin's favorite movie.
How'd you know?
Dude, look at all dude. Oh my god, robots? What the fuck? I mean, Shark Tale! Ooh la la! What a fucking movie. We're watching this trailer.
Alright.
Have you guys seen this shit?
Alright,
You've
buddy.
seen Shark Tale,
I
right?
got to go.
That's copyrighted.
You're peacing out.
Yeah.
Alright. Heart the seas, Moses. Thanks for chilling. Happy birthday.
Give me
Yeah.
some skin, dog. What the
No.
fuck? Where are you
You have to
going?
do it fucking right.
What is that?
We get weird.
My fucking ET.
That's what we do.
What? You gonna leave and not get no skin out?
As long as anyone could remember, Oscar was always
She does. She eats teeth. She phones home.
Snail.
Toasted. You did good, Cam. You did good.
Bye.
I'm really glad of all the input you put in today's session.
Hey, can you close the garage
Did
when
you
you went out?
try? All right. New fan poll. Did she actually try? Because I didn't hear her put
All
a
right.
word in edgewise. But
Alright,
whatever.
well, you probably should pause this video.
Sorry. Yeah. Let me get it on a good scene. Hell yeah. Hell
Looks
yeah.
like us next week.
Big facts. You ain't lying.
Reggie!
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
gonna have stone
Welcome to the whale wash, where the prices, oh my god.
legs. Welcome to Wednesday night.
Oh my god, the Disney casting couch with your boy Remington and Justin.
Where the weed is green
We be talking.
and the laughs are loud.
Oh my god. Oh my god, that was fucking rowdy.
Oh.
I don't even know what else to talk about. I mean, I hate going on and on about politics, but I was just
I feel
really
like
frustrated with today. And it's not even the candidates, and it's not even the
feel
bullshit. I'm just tired of the surrounding, like, the situation we're in, and I'm just...
I feel like the last, 2 months, you just... Anytime you talk to someone, you just felt this, it's just gray. There's no, there wasn't, much to talk about, because of the lockdown, and then people only talked about politics, I'm like, can we talk about something?
But also, dude, what is with the all right, and I'm gonna think. I hope to God this people who watch this have a sense of intelligence and don't take this the wrong way. But this whole racial divide, I am not ignorant. I'm not blind. Okay, I understand that there's shit out there. I get that, and I am never ever gonna say that racism doesn't exist or oppression doesn't exist.
Time out. You guys continue this?
Are you taking a
I'm gonna
break?
go drop you guys off at the pool.
I don't know what that means. Are you
And
really?
then I'm gonna go take shit.
Oh, okay. That's some. I don't
I'm
even
gonna
know
go
what
take
that.
you guys to summer camp real quick.
All right. Well, we'll be back. Remy's got to poop.
Alright, continue what you were saying, because...
I don't want, like I said, I don't want that going the wrong way. And
No,
like I said,
I
I hope
get you.
educated people can understand what I'm trying to get at here. But I truly, truly believe that the media outlets, as many of them as there are, and I know I keep just going on a rant about them tonight. I should change it, media rant night. But there's always been an issue and a slight divide in this country for lack of equal rights. And I Michael Che, I don't know if you guys pay a lot to SNL, and I'll be more than happy to play a clip for him for you. He does some really good work. He writes for SNL, stand-up comedian. He came out and he said it's one of his bits was, it's amazing that you have to have a stance on civil and equal rights, right?
Yeah.
Like that you can literally say, I feel all human beings should have the same rights, and somebody can go, nah, I disagree. And people in the crowd are laughing, and it's funny, and this and that, the other thing, right? But it's true, that's a problem in its own. I truly feel that people voted Democratic in this election because they wanted change from the mass situation that you see going across this country. And I think you needed that fresh face, because as much as I supported Trump's politics, his humanitarianism, his humanity is not in the right place. And it's tough because I just feel like this whole racial divide has been spread wider and more aggressive due to media, and I think that's relaying into this election.
I think you're 100% right. I think I'm gonna bring up both of these topics. I'm gonna bring up I'm gonna talk about Black Lives Matter and Blue Lives Matter. For one, here's the thing. I think you had two very bad deaths. I'm gonna call them deaths because they died. But
I'm gonna go as blatant as say atrocious.
Atrocious
you watch
deaths.
the videos.
Yes,
I don't care their background.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to cut you off, Justin.
Yeah.
But whether they're criminals or not, you don't land someone's neck. You don't shoot someone in their home.
I completely agree with you, and this is what I'm going to go on about the police. When this was happening, I did research on kind of what police went in the United States how their training was done versus training elsewhere, outside of the United States.
Okay. That's an interesting idea.
The average United States police officer does 6 weeks of training. In overseas, they do 2 to 3 times that amount of training
before ever touching the streets.
Which it blows my mind. It blows my mind because I saw a post. It said something along the lines of, you study 4 years in college to practice law inside of a courtroom.
Mm-hmm.
But you only do 6 weeks of training to practice the law on the streets.
Right.
And to me, that shows a lot of like, because I'm not for or against the whole defund the police thing. I think the way our police learn how to handle situations needs to change. Because right now, I believe with the amount of stress happening and the amount of stress police officers are put on, I feel like they're more likely to shoot first, ask questions later at this point. I think that's where we're at, and I think we need to learn, if someone has a knife and it starts running at you, instead of using your pistol, because the knife is not an immediate threat, use a stun gun or a taser or something to where it's going to put him down, but it's not going to kill the man.
Now, I want to come in on this, and this is for those of you who don't know, I have a very close cousin who is a police officer, okay? And I'm sure many of you have friends, family that do the same, all right? My biggest concern and my biggest counter-argument, so to speak, okay, as to the anti-Blue Lives Matter or police brutality, which is absolutely real. Absolutely. No doubt in my mind real. Definitely more places than others. I get that, okay? But my argument as a civil person, as one who's never contested the police, I've been pulled over speeding tickets, moving violations, you name it, never get, and I understand that this is unavoidable when you truly run into a racist cop or a power-hungry cop. I get that. I'm not arguing that for this sake, okay? But don't create the environment to even create the possibility of a situation. I don't care who you are. If a police officer of authority and has the right, the government and general population for some reason automatically backing them, do not give them a right to make that decision. If they say give you your license and registration, give you this, give you that, whether they're being obnoxious about it or not, you follow suit. And I think that's extremely underplayed. So, I've never once been pulled over. Yeah.
I saw a video. It was of a African American male teaching kids how to, when a cop approaches the vehicle, how to deal with a police officer correctly. And the main thing he did that he's trying to teach people is, instead of having a wallet or to get your stuff out or go into a glove box, wear a necklace that has your license, your registration, your insurance all in it, so that instead of having to reach in a glove box where the police officer is going to be scared there's a gun, it's going to be right here.
I think we're having a good constructive conversation, but I'm going to come on again I will always play devil's advocate to back the conversation to make it deeper, okay? My argument is, now I'm going to swing the other way. A cop should never have to fear over that shit. I'm telling you, I've had at least 7 traffic violations in my life. Speeding, whatever. I've never seen a cop flinch at me reach for my wallet or me reach for my registration. But I think what, again, severely underrated, kind of turning it around again, is social behavior. I've never been to a cop oh, really, you caught me speeding? And then reached aggressively or made sudden movements. There's key situations that you need to do and be responsible for as a citizen, as much as that cop has a liberty and a responsibility to not be judgmental or not jump into a situation.
I think you're at that point though in the United States history where cops are that judgmental. And
I think especially in today's climate that's going to happen.
Exactly.
I think it's not getting any better.
It's not going to get any better. I think it's going to get worse before it gets better, honestly. And so I think this guy that I watched teaching kids to have it ready on a necklace where it's it's right here. Let me get it.
But in real life, you can't always do that. You can't go to Six Flags and wear a necklace. You go on a roller coaster.
No, that's not.
You know what I'm saying?
Obviously, this was for when you're in the car. That's a lot. Every time you go to drive somewhere, you're gonna put all your documentation in this necklace. That's what I'm saying. It is a lot.
If the cop is responsible and you were responsible, you wouldn't have any of this.
So another thing that I've seen pictures of cops that have pulled over an African American versus picture of cops that pull over
Caucasian.
Caucasian.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it's I don't know about your view, but
No,
I don't know.
It's different.
I don't
It's
know.
absolutely
I don't
different.
know how cops are taught to stand. I would say because the Caucasian male was standing like this, with his hands on his vest, very relaxed. And the other guy stood like this with his hand on his gun. Now I've seen many comments about it saying, "Oh, that was just the guy's comfortable stance on his gun. He was just very comfortable." But at the same time, it puts a picture into everyone else's mind that's like the cop was fearful of something going bad. He was already
assuming something could go wrong.
And to me, that is where I feel like but it goes both ways.
It does.
The African American community needs to do better in
handling interaction.
Exactly.
And I will say that police officers have a much more responsibility of assuming a situation, and that maybe assuming is the wrong word, but presenting a situation, reading a situation. Because but it's just, I can't speak from being an officer. I've never been in a position where I have to worry about some drug addict, regardless of their race, being desperate or unsound. I mean, there's a lot of situations that you do need to have your hand on a freaking gun. I absolutely
agree. I think, and this goes back to the media not telling us the truth, or
just a common conception.
Media telling us lies. This is going with the Breonna Taylor death. We will never truly know what truly happened that night because the media has swayed it so many different ways. There's so many different versions of the story that I can't make my mind up of what story is real, what story is not, And that's the problem I'm having on what went down the night, because one, we don't have video camera.
But it's hard to have your answers.
The
problem is you'll never know a full story.
It really is.
That's the hard part about modern society. But I think the other thing too is we live in a world of entitlement. I know this is gonna sound bad because the reason that all these Breonna Taylor's death, and I don't really remember if you guys remember, what was it? I can't even think of the name of the town. That went nuts. It was in Indiana or something Kentucky or something. I'm talking about the whole time. Ferguson, Indiana, I think it was. People assume they see one thing and go that's concrete, that's the reality, F this, F that. Everybody needs to step back and just appreciate what everything is. There are people who are desperate and going to make stupid decisions. Cops are worried about their kids and wives and husbands at home, and they don't want to get shot. There's a counter argument. If everyone would just think about the person next to them or their neighbor or whoever they're dealing with from their shoes, we would never be in this fucking mess, because you wouldn't have this. If you're pulled over for a stop, if you're in a stolen fucking car and a cop pulls you over, you're done. You're done. You don't need to pull a gun. You don't need to create a situation. You're done. You fucked up. It's over.
You got caught.
But people like that, right? That's the guy where the cop comes up for a routine traffic stop. Car stolen. He doesn't know it yet. Guy pulls a gun and tries to take off. You don't think that cop is going to be checked for the rest of his life? You don't think every time he pulls somebody over, he's going to think in the back of his slight mind, that one time I almost didn't make it home to my 3-year-old?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And it's you just got to think with your head. You know what I'm saying? And likewise, the cops should be doing the same thing. This could just be an ordinary guy. Not everybody steals a fucking SUV. You know what I mean? Not everybody has 400 pounds of weed in the car. You gotta, if everyone just thought how everybody else just thought about everybody else, we would be in a better place.
We have gone from such a, it's about everybody else. It's
to about me.
It's about me. It's my privilege.
Deserve to be famous. I deserve my rite of passage. It's bullshit.
It's such a poor society.
But we will never get better until that's corrected.
It's such a terrible thing. To think I'm better than you, or I deserve more than you. I it's all about me. That
this entitlement.
That mentality of
Fred,
yeah,
I'm better than you.
Fuck you, man.
Of that entitlement of people is just, it bothers me to no end. How do you deserve better than me?
I think, an interesting point of this, and I'll let you guys kind of take up after this because I want to hear your thoughts. I've been thinking about this for a while, but I've never actually expressed it. I think a big portion of what's wrong in the way this country's headed that's severely under-talked about is education. I mean, I know it sounds really stupid, but this is the best example I can give, okay? How is no one educated to tax structure, tax filing in high school? I grew up in small town USA. I don't know about you guys here near Raleigh.
You're not in the minority in this one, big man.
These things should be like how to handle a traffic stop or handle a social situation with those of authority should be something you learn in middle school, if not younger, and then described watching video. I don't care how corny it is. Make it a class. Social standing, you know what I mean? How to apply for loans, how to do taxes. These are things that you should be doing in high school, not... I mean, like, home... I don't need to know... I mean, yeah, baking's cool, right? But, like, I think I can figure that out because the box tells me and I can learn from there. But no one tells you how to do taxes. No one tells you how to structure shit with an I-9 versus a W-2. So no one does these things.
So tell me why. Why do I need to understand why some poet's reason for writing a poem is so important when I could be learning, how to write a resume, how to apply for a job, how to deal with an interview, how to do taxes. What are taxes? What's credit?
Well, if you look at it this
credit
way,
is a massive one too that no one talks about until you see
I don't know how your guys' high school whatever was set up, but like my high school, we had like basically college surrounded classes kind of. So where like if you wanted, you had the option if you wanted to know about taxes and like finance.
I didn't have
You
that
never
option.
presented that. Now I knew a lot of like smarter kids that took like AP classes or like pre-college or whatever, but we were never near university. That was never an option.
Well, like we had like personal finance. We had like.
But all I'm saying is that should be a standard. I'm not saying it's not out there. That should absolutely be like you talk about mandated credits or whatever. I shouldn't have to go to college and focus in finance or business to go learn this shit. This should be high school level stuff, middle school level stuff. Truthfully.
No, it really should. I think our education system has gone. This is my opinion. Whether you all take it for whatever it is, our education system is more of a business than an actual education system.
I need you to elaborate on that.
So what I'm saying is,
if you think about what you just said as far as this should be like what it is, like in high school, realistically, how much would you have paid attention in those classes?
You can say that, and I'm not saying I wouldn't have slacked off. I was that kind of kid, but like we did I still have it on my keyring on God right here, this blue carabiner. We did this, like, you had a fake amount of money, and you had to put it in the current American market and see who made the most money off their investments. That's probably the realest thing that I did in that class. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I remember doing an accounting class, we learned about ledgers and reporting, like, negatives, debits, credits, and all that. Like, you say, I didn't pay attention to that class, but I damn well knows what those are, and they came back later in life, and I kind of had to revisit that, but at least I had an idea.
But what I'm saying is that, like, they can hit all that in school. It's just a matter of person to person, depending on what group you're in.
I'm saying it should be presented whether or not you pay attention or not. Right. It should be there. I didn't even have the option.
Yeah, same.
Well, I mean, that's what they teach you with, like...
It's the same with keyboarding and everything, but that's the same for everything. Yeah. I took a keyboarding class, and I kept peeking under the fucking thing, and it didn't come until high school or college where I really had to learn how to type fast, that I learned how to type, you know what I mean? But I still knew the concept. The concept was still there. Fucking, what is that? Goddamn Cortez Peters, motherfucker. Cortez Peters type
going back to what I said, you see, so my mom is a teaching assistant in an elementary school.
Did not know that, honestly.
Yeah, no, she's a teaching assistant she used to be, she's the front desk lady now, but she used to be a teaching assistant. She was a teaching assistant for, I think, 5 years. Every year the curriculum changed. Mm-hmm. The only reason the curriculum changed was because something changed about the book. And so they had to write a whole new book about it. Right. And so why am I trying to sell as much as I can? Why can't it be about the students learning something versus me making the most money?
Well, let me even kind of put a twist on it that way, truthfully. And I'll kind of throw this in there and you can see if it addresses your point. I think you should have that college level selection in high school. Now, when I was going into high school, I graduated in 2012. I'm a little bit older than you guys. Okay? Truthfully.
I mean, you're only 3 years older than me.
I'm not, but 3 years is 3 years. Yeah. My senior year is when they started implementing you could take classes based on your interests. You could start taking guitar lessons in high school as a class.
I never got that.
Things like that. It was implemented as I was walking out. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It shouldn't have been that late. I truly feel in today's system
With
that
the
you would
amount
have
of
better
different-
prepped
and
college kids
with the amount
with
of
that
different
environment
like
in high school.
interests,
As
that-
opposed to college where you can take this based on what you can afford, you're paying for classes, tuition. In high school, you should be able to be like, you know, math, English, science, your basics. But those additional classes, if you're, like, you got to fill a schedule, right? You
Yeah.
get a certain amount of
Yeah,
blocks.
you have-
You should be able to choose to keep your interest
Well, you-
on what you want to
Can I-
learn.
How many classes do you have in high school? Like each semester? Like
Dude, I really have to. It's been a minute. I remember, I think there was like, we did our like sessions or whatever, our like blocks was by letters, and I think there was 8 maybe. 8 classes a day. Some days was 4 and then 2-hour sessions.
I had 4 classes each semester, so I had 8 classes total, but 4 each semester.
Oh, I had like
And-
8, like probably any given moment.
And I never had a choice of an elective. I had, math, science, English, and then you had you maybe allowed 1 elective. But you had your 3 basic things, and then you had to take a gym class. And so each year you had to take 1 math, 1 science, 1 English, and then you had maybe 1 elective, and your electives were along the lines of like I took 3 semesters
like art or
like I took
crafting.
woodcraft.
Shit like
I
that.
took 3 semesters of sports. Like I took like sports
analysis or something.
like fitness, like
Oh,
sports
okay.
fitness. Basically, I played sports
Yeah,
all day.
yeah.
And so, like, to me, like, I was never given the opportunity to learn, like, personal finance or, like, taxes or, like, stuff that would actually help me in today's society. Like, it just doesn't make sense why I have to wait until after high school to know about this stuff.
Well, you gotta think the math shit that they do teach you, you use that every day.
No, I don't.
Some of
Okay.
it. Some of it. Your fundamentals.
Most of it you use.
When
on a
in
daily
the
basis.
actual...
I used everything up to algebra.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Everything
everything
except
all that
shapes.
BS after that,
But-
even geometry,
but
I
they
used
te-
more than anything.
But they teach you that is the theory of some
You're
of those
going into
people that
college
were in
or
your
science,
classes.
right.
Some of those people that were in your classes, they teach you that because if you go to college, that's the next step. But they teach you that stuff in college, and let's say you go to be an engineer,
Mhm.
you will use everything that you've ever learned.
But they also revisit it. I mean, I don't know. You guys are in college too. You should know that. I mean, when I went, I did not graduate. I'm not gonna act like I did. But I went to UConn for a semester and a half, and I took like senior math or whatever. It was like intro, like barely touched on like trig and calc.
yeah, you
right?
took like
Pre-calc.
remedial math.
Barely, because I just wasn't I was good with algebra. Everything after that, I did truly struggle with. And then I took it in college. You had to take pre-calc as a gen ed, and I don't fucking remember a lick of it. Like I don't have any interest. It doesn't phase in.
But that's what I'm saying. If you were in a career that you used it, it would be necessary.
I agree, but all I'm saying is why is that a gen ed? I am not going to be an engineer. I wasn't going in that direction.
that goes
At that point, I should be able to choose.
I'm
And the
going-
other issue I have too is it's forcing a secondary. College is a business. You're paying thousands of dollars a year to go to a college. And they do have their own interests. I mean,
So my
Sports
question
programs
is
and
why
shit.
I'm currently in college.
both of them are, honestly.
I'm going
Dropping out.
I'm going to college for human resources. Why do I have to take calculus 1 and 2? In what world am I going to use that in human resources? That just blows
But
my
even
mind.
if you want to later on, pick up a book or go take that class at your own option. You know
But
what I mean?
why is it a mandatory class for me to take?
I can't answer that but I truly believe again, because it's business, right? I truly believe that when you go to college, you have to do gen eds for 2 years. You can't get into your major for almost 2 years
Yep.
because you have to do gen eds. What's the what's the productivity out of that other than giving a college 20 to 40 to 60 grand a year to do general information you don't
The
even want
gen
to
eds
take?
I'm even allowed to take, I don't even have interest in.
Yeah.
I'm forced to take them.
Essentially, yeah. And,
Like,
and you're paying out of your pocket to do so.
I'm taking right now.
That's my point.
Right now, I'm taking a history course. I don't like history, but I have to take it as part of my gen ed. It's one of
Mandated.
the mandated courses I have to take, and I'm like, aren't gen ed supposed to be like more or less?
They want to teach you history as more of a gen ed course so they can prevent history from repeating itself.
Yeah, but I was taught that in high school. Were you not? I watched current events in high school on the daily. We watch videos all the
Yeah,
time.
you watch current events so that
Yeah.
things don't repeat, but it doesn't just stop there. I mean, there's always deeper and further you can go into everything.
I'm not. But I'm just saying there's too much of that to do. Like I don't know.
But they
I
kind of
get
teach
what
you
your
those
argument
like
is.
history classes so that as an adult you're capable of forming your own opinions.
I get that, but I understand your basis. I'm just saying, if I'm paying $20,000 a year for education, I want to learn what I want to learn. I don't want to learn what you're telling me I need to learn.
I think this is kind of going
At
off
that
topic.
point, you're an adult.
This is kind of going off topic, but I truly believe we test students too much. We give too much work.
I can't speak to that. I've been far away.
Whether or not, if you look, like, there are, like, I usually have, in a semester, I usually have 4 or 5 tests. And then maybe a project in between, or a paper or 2, you know, something like that. To me, this is my opinion. To me, if you teach me a unit and have a unit test on that, I fail it, but I pass the final exam, I should pass the class.
It brings up a very. I mean, that's
like
tricky.
like why if it just takes me longer to understand the material than you gave me time to learn that material.
Right.
What's different? What's the problem?
If the testing is structured in the fashion that you're indicating, yes, I can agree with that. Now, some professors, and again, they have their own ways of doing things. Everybody knows that.
Oh, yeah.
Some of them do half course load and then almost like a final for that course load, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever you want to call it, but it's that material, and then the final is on the second half of that course load.
I agree. That would
Then
work.
it wouldn't make sense.
I think we've gotten into a point where we've gotten to kind of a structure of like, this is how it has to be. These are what typically happens, so this is what's going to happen. We don't have changes. We, like different types of styles of teaching.
Well, I think it even goes beyond that. I mean, I truly believe that you're not a criminal for not going to college. We live in a world now where they're asking you what college you want to go to. I was a freshman in high school. You have an idea. Your parents went here. I'm going to go here. It's almost like a mandated, almost like a vibe.
My
You know what I'm
college
saying?
life is like I'm on my third college.
But I'm just saying, ask again, same thing. Just talk to your parents. Talk to your parents.
Oh.
They weren't mandated to go to college. You can't find somebody who wants to go to a trade school nowadays, and there's no crime in that. You can make more money in trade school doing what you can get most majors on.
Yeah.
Truthfully.
And to me, like there's so many people that I talk to that when I said I started my college career at a community college.
It's almost like a lower class.
It was
vibe,
like,
you know what I mean?
exactly. It was like,
you're frowned upon.
it was
for
like,
that.
oh, you didn't go to a 4-year college. I was like, I'm at one now, but I didn't start there.
You're crazy not to. You can pay a quarter of the price you pay to do the same shit they're gonna teach you.
So now, obviously, that was my.
But because you didn't spend the money on the name, you know what I mean? It's almost like it's like honestly to me, college is like buying a car. Like, oh, you got a Civic. I got no one gives a shit. It gets you from A to B, doesn't what the fuck?
Obviously,
it drives me nuts, dude. I really
You're
do.
driving a Mustang.
I like my car. I don't knock other people. I mean, I do jokingly, but not really.
So, I mean,
this fucking kid drives a Mazda 3. What do you mean? No.
that seems about
at the end of the day, dude, if I ask you to go to dinner and you can get there with a fucking vehicle, what do I care? Even if you take I don't care how you get there. I'm just saying this. And what amazes me is that in our generation, and this is truly our generation, college has become a status symbol. And I find that absolutely astonishing. Because I can guarantee you, if you were to take a random 100 people at a successful company, right? Like MetLife or United Healthcare, Cigna, Aetna, I don't care. I'm thinking healthcare because they're big names, but anything, anything.
So I don't know how it was in your high school, but in my high school, my teachers drilled this into my head. They always said, college is going to be tougher. College professors are going to be tougher. Going to college is going to guarantee you jobs.
Yeah.
It was that same principle of you need to go to college. College is a necessity.
In the past, that was true.
And so you get this. You're sitting there for 4 years getting this drilled into your head, and you're like, well, shit.
I need to go to college.
I gotta go to college. And my parents come from they are very they weren't strict about going to college. They were kind of figure out what you want to do, and if what you want to do requires it, then go to college.
Let me emphasize that way more than I think most people do. if what you want to go or pursue in life requires a degree or secondary education, pursue college. Okay?
Exactly. Like, if you want to become a doctor
Or
a lawyer, you know,
anything.
those things
engineer,
that
chemist,
require
doctor, nurse. I don't.
a degree to get into that, like those
That's
positions.
understandable.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean?
But if you want to say go become a salesman
or an actress,
you
don't need to pay $20,000 a year for that.
Now, if you want to become educated, I highly suggest a 2-year college. It's about a quarter of the price. You can still get a 2-year degree, you know, come out with a basic...
And then transfer to 4 if you need to continue.
Yeah, go for, like, a basic business degree, of which I already got. Like,
or basic degree, anything. But it's all I'm saying, dude, is progress. And I just, like... It's a double-edged sword. Like, do you need a degree to go in acting? I'm sure somebody who's an actor might tell you yes, or theatrical arts is important. I'm not knocking that, okay? But for most of you, okay, and this is the other issue that I think no one talks about, probably 80, I would say legitimately 70 to 80%, somewhere in that projectile, do not end up in a career for what they were educated in or whatever.
So a lot. My dad told me, he said 9 times out of 10. So this goes for 90% of like jobs out there. Your first job, after you're there for a year or two, your college education doesn't matter. It's all about once you have that experience of that 1 year, 2 years. It doesn't matter about where you went to college.
Let me throw this at you, and I think people don't look at it in this light either. Okay. As my parents owned 2 businesses, they were bars. I'm not saying my parents owned 2 fucking like multi-trillion-dollar fucking, you know, they didn't own Trump Towers, okay? They owned 2 bars, all right? What a college degree on a resume shows, from an employer's perspective, and obviously it goes beyond that as well, is what's literally 2 things. 2 things. It can be summed down to 2 things. Ask any human, like any employer, any hiring agent, anybody. I don't care. This is truth. Time management and commitment, passion. That's all it shows. If somebody gives you a degree of any kind versus somebody who doesn't, it shows that they are committed and they are willing to put in time and effort for their passion. That's what it shows. So that's why somebody will be employed with a degree, and that's why most places require a general degree, not in that field. If you pay attention, it'll say a bachelor's degree.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
I don't know if your parents answered this question, but this is just curious. Say someone applies with a college degree, but they don't have any work experience, and then someone else applies with 3 years of straight work experience. Does that differ because someone?
There's a lot to factor in now. Like you said yourself, if you're going for a degree on something that's mad important, that degree takes precedence. Okay, if you're going to be an engineer, I don't want to see 4 years of jumbo geometry. That looks like you're not good at what you do. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the truth. But you got to take everything with the context.
It's also about who you know.
To a degree, networking is important, and I think I would argue that that's the third most important part about college. Truthfully, time management, passion, and networking. You meet a shit ton of people in those environments, hands down. If you're social enough to do it, I know plenty of kids that I had classes with on the daily that I never even knew their first name. That were quiet, just showed up. It happens. You know what I mean? But like, you asked a very compelling question, and it very much is interesting. But it depends on the situation. If in a situation as bartending or waitressing, you don't need a degree in any facet. You really don't. You just need to be personal. Bartending, they say it, but more like waitering, waitressing, things of that degree. Even honestly, truthfully, most mom and pops will not require it. If you're in a city and you're high traffic, then they want you to be, because you need to be able to handle the traffic. So that's different. But in that environment where that degree isn't necessary, if my mom's actually handed me resumes before and said, what do you think? You have to evaluate it on a breakdown on each level, right? If you're 18 or 19 years or whatever it is, 20 years old, and you're old enough to just graduate from college, then most of your resume is going to be the degree, because that's what you've committed 90% of your time and efforts to over the last 4 years. 3 years, 2 years. Now, that being said, if you put work experience in there, that shows not only can you commit to one thing, but you were also hardworking, dedicated in other aspects. That's a pretty good candidate, right?
Because, I mean, in my internship, when I first started in the office, I looked at my fair share of resumes with my boss, and we talked a lot about.
I forget you were in human resources.
We talked a lot about like what she was looking for before we started thing, and she said, you want someone that's in that degree field, you know, because like a lot of what we were like,
interest,
because a lot of the things we were looking for were like engineers, stuff that needed a degree,
high class,
you know, needed a degree,
educated,
and so you needed someone in that field of study, and you wanted them, you wanted to see experience as well. Like it wasn't like you didn't want them to be this is their first job, you know. When you needed some type of experience in the job, it didn't even have to be with.
Just out there,
you know,
how those systems apply to the real world.
Exactly, and so we started looking at them, and what I noticed is you'll have kind of two sides of the story. You'll have someone in the field, but they only focus on coursework. They are 100% in the books 24/7. That's all they do. Then you'll have someone, you know, just starting out, but they have plenty of experience. And so I talked to my boss. I was like, well, to me, if it was me, I'm choosing this guy. He's had experience, even though he's just starting. You know, he has a lot to learn. This internship would be great for him because it would teach him a lot about the job.
He needs the education.
Let's look at it this way. Like if you're an employer, and let's say I run a business.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I run a car flipper.
You did for a little bit, didn't you? Essentially,
let's say I run a business, okay, and you come at me. You got 4 years of automotive experience, and I'm running a car business, a repair business. Mm-hmm. You got four years of experience, but no college. He comes at me with, he's got
NASCAR Training Institute, but
he's got UTI degree. He's got this, but he's got no experience. I'm gonna look at the situation as far as what do I need at that moment. Do I have the time and the money and the effort to be able to train somebody, or do I have no time, no effort, and I just need somebody that knows what they're doing?
I want to build on that because it's important, and I think that's another thing that it's interesting. What I find amazing is the industry drives the need for the resume, or how that resume needs to be structured is 100% industry driven. Now, I will say this too. It's fascinating because it is extremely underanalyzed, right? But the way you almost got to see it is that resume is an insane first impression, right? But you also... Dude, when I got my job at United, I was at United Healthcare for a year and a half, almost 2 years, okay? When I went and interviewed for that, my resume was trashed. You got to understand. I went a year and a half of college, no degree, probably four or five jobs leading into that, bouncing around, nothing more than a year and a half. So on paper, I look like a disaster. I mean, honestly, I've jumped 6 different industries. I've never stayed in each one. On paper, I'm a mess, okay? But that's the other part I find utterly fascinating is you talked about earlier. How come in school they don't teach the interview? Extremely undervalued quality. You can do one or the other. You can have a slamming resume and be okay in person, or you can be a phenomenal interaction, great with people, and kind of make up for the lack of paper. Exactly. And I always found that interesting because that was my strong suit. I can speak to that. I went in and met with the manager of United Healthcare. I'm sitting there looking at my resume going, I wouldn't fucking hire me. Are you kidding me? But I can explain my way out of a paper, anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
she was asking, why 7 different jobs? Well, this is the situation. I went to college. I have the bar experience from working for my parents. On top of that, I tried to enter real world, get an understanding because I was no longer in college about a technical field through meeting and networking with people. Didn't really understand it. Tried it. Wasn't really you can explain if you can rationalize decisions and show education beyond paper. You're just as good as on paper, and I think that's what makes human resources and business ownership and that kind of bringing people in under your umbrella and hiring is such a fascinating topic, really, because you have to decipher if they actually want to be there. You gotta read through what they have. You know what I mean? You could be a great personality, but all this says you're gonna quit in a month. You know what I mean?
It took before I had my internship. I applied for about 5, 6, 7 internships, and I told my mom before. This was about the time I was going to quit Pump It Up where I originally worked, and I told my mom, I was like, before I land in any internship, I have to get my AA. Because before that...
Your what?
My 2-year degree.
Oh, okay.
Because before
Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Because before that, I looked at my resume, and the only thing I had was basically my jobs, which was an assistant tennis coach, a head tennis coach, and Pump It Up. Other than that, I didn't really have anything going for me because I didn't really have... I was in college.
But I'm sure on paper... I mean, you worked at Pump It Up for how long? 3, 4 years? I mean, it was
5
long.
years.
On paper, that's
5
commitment.
years,
Who the
that's
fuck cares what it
fucking-
was? That shows me.
You
That
stuck with
shows
a company
me, yeah.
for 5 years.
And it was through your college time, so it shows me you're dedicated and hard working. That's what shows on paper.
And so before I like set myself up to land an internship once I graduated with my 2-year degree, because in my mind I was like, my 2-year degree is going to show them like, hey, like I finished my 2-year degree, I'm on my way to my 4-year degree, I completed this, so that I am committed to getting my 4
Here's
year.
a sample.
Yeah, here's a sample of what I completed. And then, you know, my work kind of showed, like, obviously, like, my past work was mostly with kids. I would talk
But again,
to,
it's
yeah.
time too. 5
It is
years,
time, and
regardless of the job. It could be McDonald's for 5 years. It shows you're committed, and I mean, it shows what you. There's so much behind that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, there is, and obviously, like, I was a manager for 3 of those years at Pump It Up, which I absolutely.
Whole other leadership
Yeah.
quality, all that bullshit.
Well, let's look at that. You know, you get the same resume. You got some dude, same company, same car company, and someone's just trying to get into it. Someone walks in with 5 years at Pump It Up,
And to a 2-year degree. What does that show? It shows he can
and
learn.
a 2-year degree. You know, I'm gonna look at it and be like, okay, he's dedicated. He wants to work. But then again, somebody comes in with a 2-year degree, but his resume is dog shit. But he's got a 2-year degree in the field that I'm,
Right.
you know,
And-
my
and
company
you're doing
goes
it.
for.
So
I'm gonna pick that dude just because he's at least knows somewhat.
But you're going
I
again.
want to dive a little deeper into this.
That's fine. But I just want to build on that while he mentions it. Okay. You are also looking at just the paper. I'm still trying to tell you that
Well,
if someone
even
now
still,
if I
like-
come in and I do that but if I'm a prick, right? Like I might not have the experience, but I got a degree. You're gonna
Well,
choose somebody
if
like
I'm
that
sitting
over
there-
somebody walks in and you're like, look, I'm passionate about this. Haven't had the opportunity to enter this, but
Well,
I'm
that's
a
what I'm
quick
saying.
learner
I
in
think
this.
everybody gets an interview. Like
That's right.
if I'm running a business, I get an application. They're getting an interview. It doesn't matter if their shit said Dairy Queen and they're trying to work.
But
for me
that
in
should
college.
that doesn't weigh as heavily in your mind. I mean, if Justin comes in, he's like, I've never been in this industry, I've never had the opportunity, but here's my 5 years of dedication to somebody and a 2-year degree.
But
That
if
doesn't-
I'm picking out those, so if I have those two people, like let's say you come in, you have a 2-year degree.
Take
and
it like I am right now.
and
I'll give it like it is right now. I'm a year and a half, no degree.
So both of you come at me. You have a degree in a different field. I'm running a car repair business. You have a degree in not automotive degree.
Business degree.
You don't have an automotive degree, and you have 5 years of Pump It Up. You have an automotive degree and 5 different jobs that you've been with 6 months at a time.
Jiffy Lube.
So if
maybe
I
some
come
other
through, no, nothing car related,
Oh, okay.
just like McDonald's, Taco Bell, whatever. If you both come at me, I'm gonna give you both an interview. But now let's say I talk to you and you're just like just come at me like if you were in that situation and I was looking at your resume and I was like, okay, why do you want to work here?
Well, my
you have a
argument
degree.
is to be anti what he would show personality wise to make it a conversation.
Well,
right?
that's what I'm saying. Like
So
if-
I'm like,
if I
you know, you see that I worked at McDonald's and Burger King, but I mean, you should hire me. Like, I spent 2 years learning this shit.
yeah, at that point I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna let you know, and then as soon as you leave.
Because of the attitude.
But now if Justin comes in, he's like, look, I don't have any experience in it, but I want to learn about it. I'm passionate. I've been with this company.
Here's examples of how
Yeah.
I've splashed my passion in the past.
I've been with this company for 5 years. I haven't gave up on it. Okay, why did you leave that company? Oh, well, I got caught up in more schoolwork, and it was
I wanted
just,
to pursue other interests.
I
whatever
wanted to
it be.
pursue something else. I would be like, okay, well, what makes you want to work for me?
Mm-hmm. You gotta ask the right
I
questions.
have a solid interest in cars. I drive a Mazda 3, but I know I can rip apart an engine, put it back together. All right, well, I'm gonna give you a shot, and then I'm gonna hire you over the dude that's got experience just because. But then again, you got to think of the time frame. Like even if
It's
that dude's a
insane the
dick,
amount of things that are coming.
yeah,
into
even if
play.
that dude's a
But
dick
I'm
and
just
he's
saying
like,
people-
you should hire me just because I have a degree, I'm gonna be like, okay, we have a degree, something.
But I'm saying, generally speaking, that's your college level environment. These people leave college expecting almost what's that word I used earlier? Entitled to a job.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, I would take the guy who's busted his ass at 6 jobs for 5 years, trying to find where he wants to be in life without paying $30,000 a year, if he's intelligent, coherent, great with people, unjudgmental. Like, there's so much in an interview that you can pick up on that I would absolutely take that kid with a fucked up resume and give him a chance at some solidity than the asshole who thinks that, oh, I went to school and partied, but I got the degree, so give me a fucking
So
but you got to think of it as.
and it goes both ways. If that guy is working hard and did his degree, I'm not in a
But like, let's say
You know?
that same kid, he was hardworking, but like he had 6 different jobs. Yes, but it was like, okay, I worked at this job for 6 months because I needed money, but then I started falling behind on my schoolwork, so I figured my schoolwork was more important, so I went back.
But that's different than the guy I'm just telling you about, because there's no way that guy's going to be an asshole. Do you understand what I'm saying? He's humbled.
So,
and you'll know that when you talk to him.
So
that's what I find fascinating.
My question is, this goes both, I'm asking both of you, I want your both opinions. At what point do you put experience over education? Because there's that person, there's those two types of people that are going to be full in the books, 4.0 GPA.
I'm just going to cut you off and tell you industry. If I'm working on a fucking spaceship, do you think I care whether or not you've learned about it in a classroom? If you work for NASA for 2 years and you know how to build a fucking spaceship, I need you. You want to understand aerospace, you've used it in real life application. Yes. Okay? Like, it really, truthfully depends on the industry.
Yeah, well, it just depends on what time you're coming in. Like, if you're coming in at a time that they're not, like, hands-on building a spaceship.
If they're mid-project and they need somebody senior, they're going to take the senior. They're going to take the experience. You're absolutely right.
But, like, if they're, off-season, not doing shit.
We're not building a spaceship for another 8 months, and we have 8 months to train you on this, that, and the other. Yeah, that's a whole different ballgame.
But that's just kind of, like, plug and play. Like, you have to... It's more of like...
It's truthfully a chess match. I mean, it's wild.
It's roll the dice, and if you pop up at the time, right time, right place. Right time, right place. That's all it is.
But I mean, that's always it's funny we talk about that because it's a very hard hitting point in my life because honestly my resume I've really never been at a job for more than I think United Healthcare was the longest 2.5 years.
So
yeah,
here's another point.
I was there for 3 years,
and I know people are gonna look at that and be like, why did you jump? I don't know what I want to do, man. I don't, and I'm fascinated by I love learning stuff, dude. I didn't know copier leasing was a job until my mom got it, and I'm like, but it also is so much more beyond the industry. I didn't mind United Healthcare. It became so nitpicky on everything inside the job that I was like, I can't work under this. Like, literally, they were monitoring how long you went to the bathroom. I'm like, that's not a job, that's a prison sentence. I need something else. You
that's exactly how
but
I
was. But I can explain that. I can pursue that.
I kind of, I went off I left my last job, Pump It Up, on a really good note with my owner. Mm-hmm. With my general manager, me and them, because there was 2 of them. Yep. They were so, like, I don't talk about them when I go to an interview because to me, I reported to my owner. Mm-hmm. The GMs, they came in and they tried to take over the place, and I was not about that, and I had to leave because of their toxic environment there. They basically.
But you can express that.
I try not to because I don't want it to look like I left because I left because it was. I just talk about my time before that. When I was a manager, I was doing really well. Got a raise, blah blah blah.
But see, I would spin that just for future reference. I mean, if you're going into whatever, you don't have to necessarily diss general management, but you can praise your connection with ownership.
Yeah, exactly. And so what else was I gonna ask? I had another question.
It's already 10 o'clock.
I know. I'm about to get out of here. It's all good. I'll let Justin finish this up, and you remember what it was?
No idea.
What were we thinking about? Where was your train of thought?
It was like your environment. I was going on about how if there's a point in everyone's I think job where they get if you don't like your job because of the environment, you're only gonna last so long. You will last longer if you don't like the actual job than you do in working with good people.
The culture.
And you like the culture. Like it's so massive for the environment of the job to be
But I think
good.
that's why I say those interviews are so important, right?
Oh, yeah.
You need the resumes are only going to say so much. You need to fill in the gaps, and you can do that if you're great with words. You're educated. You can fill in explanation and explain the things.
I truly cannot see myself working at the company I'm interning for because they're more so the people that work there are more so older than like when I say older, they're like mid 40s, mm-hmm. early 50s, and so. To me, I want to work at a company where, there's people around my age that I can, talk to at lunch, that
I can respect that.
And so, I mean, I know that's going to be hard to find nowadays.
Not even that, dude. I think it's quick. I always love opportunity, okay? I like anything that presents itself to you. If the internship works, you're enjoying what you're doing now, I don't know the nature of it. You could, what people are so quick to jump to the trigger. You could learn a lot from these people.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I already have. Like,
And I'm not saying you
been-
haven't, but you know, if they offer you the job, I mean, if nothing's else on the table, you have to weigh the situation. Like Remy said, it's all situational. At that time, weigh your options, figure your stuff out. But if that's one of the bigger jobs on the table, take it, run with it, do what I did, and explain yourself. I worked there 2-3 years.
Yeah.
I learned what I could from management, took everything I could. I enjoyed my time there, but I'm ready to move on to something different, and here's why.
Yeah,
as long as you can present it right, it's going to be okay.
Like,
you know what I mean?
If you think about it, I've been working at this internship from February. I started there on February 22nd, 23rd. I've been working almost,
It's 8 months,
Almost
essentially.
going
You're
on
almost
almost-
coming on a year, so 9 months, I think, because it was
Almost 9
February,
months,
yeah.
yeah,
Because
so-
we're close to, nine,
so
8, 9
like,
months.
like, I don't know, like, it's such, like, to me, like, how humble I am and how glad I am to be able to hold a job in the world we live in right now with COVID and, you know, everything going on. Like, when I landed this in February and come March we had to go home, I'm thinking, oh, there's no way I keep this internship, right? Like, they're going to shut the program down, you know, cut their losses and just kind of not have an internship program this year. And so, like, I'm working from home till summer, and everyone's like, okay, like, here are all the interns that we're hiring. And so I'm like, I guess I talked to my boss, I'm like, we're actually having it. And they're like, yeah. And so I worked through the summer, you know, and then the day before I had to give, like, a final presentation of, like, what I learned, what I did throughout through the summer. And the day before, my boss's boss invites me to, like, a call, like a video chat, and she talks to me like, how you liking the internship, how did you like it, blah blah blah. And she asks, like, after I tell her, like, oh, like, it was amazing, blah blah blah, she's like, how would you like to, like, continue working on the project you're working for right now, because that's a great help for us, basically. Like, we would really enjoy you just doing that until you finish it, see where we are when you
At that
time, you know, reevaluate. And I was like, you know, like, that sounds fantastic, and that's where we are today. And so, you know, it's all about kind of, like, making sure, like, one, obviously you do your work, like, make sure you
Have
get
good work ethic.
yeah, exactly. Work ethic is a lot of it. Two, talk to your boss. Like, if you truly aren't liking your job, if you, like,
That's gross. It just looked like you died. Sorry. Talk to your boss.
like, if you don't like your job, like, speak. Like, I went probably 2 years at Pump It Up where I didn't like my job. The only reason I didn't talk to my owner about it was because my friend Caroline already talked to her about the subject that I would have talked to her about, and she already did nothing about it. And so I figured, if they're not going to react to the person that actually happened to, is it going to be any different? And so I kind of just worked as long as I could without, you know, burning the place down.
Alright, well, pause on that. Michigan, Wyoming, and
They all came in.
Minnesota. Hold on a second, let me get back. Michigan, Wyoming, Minnesota, Illinois, Washington, and Oregon are about to flip.
Really? Jesus. How do you know that? Well, who's reporting it?
Just go to there and type in election. Same map. Alright, now click on Michigan. Top right looks like a glove. Okay, so if you look at it, look how much red is on there.
Yeah, but Detroit and all them are
So
more
go
densely
back.
populated.
But Detroit and all them.
They're
So-
less than 1 million. They're less than 100,000 difference.
But if you go up, so go back up.
Hmm?
Now you see all like Flint. Okay, so those Grand Rapids, Flint, Detroit, those are all their highly populated areas. But all of those highly populated areas, at the end of the day, really don't mean shit. When look at Michigan and then look at the other part of Michigan up top.
So
So only the highly populated areas are Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now click Wyoming. Right next to it.
What?
That's Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. Yeah. But look at that. So Madison, You know, Green Day is one of their big things, but you know, Milwaukee, that's a big one.
Yeah, Madison's the capital. So.
Yeah, so all of them. Now click over one more.
Where? Here?
Yeah. Minnesota. Okay, so look at just all the red right there. So a lot of those are gonna flip. So like if you look, Joe Biden.
No, you're missing that they already won and lost that. So dark blue means they already
But
won.
what I'm saying is that those are all the ballots that are counted to right now.
Right.
So he won as of right now, but until every single ballot is in. So if you scroll down, it doesn't say 100% done.
99% reported.
Yeah, 99%.
Yeah, but the 1% isn't going to flip this vote.
Well, until it says 100%, that's.
I'm not disagreeing, but this
That's
is a lot
yeah.
farther apart than you were here. This is
You
less
have a
than
better chance of
100,000. 1%
flipping
actually would be a flip.
Yeah,
You understand?
So
that?
go to
What are they at? What are they? Are they at
You gotta
99?
scroll up. 99. So go over to like Pennsylvania where it's a light red, where this is actually red leaves. They're not done counting these votes.
See, those are
so
already definitive.
Scroll up. No.
Oh.
Like on the page, they're only at 89% reported. So that is still up for grabs, really. Like, where's the vote?
But they're the same thing,
the
less
states
than
can still
200.
flip. Even though they already won all those mail ballots that are coming in.
Right.
they can still flip.
We're not going to know until they declare
Yeah,
it done. And I heard rumors. I don't know what
It's not
this is
gonna be
true or
till, like,
not.
Friday.
Yeah, I heard.
I
Friday
heard they're
as well.
allowing mail-ins till Friday, which is fucking dumb.
North Carolina is. You can get a mail-in until they can get a mail-in until the 12th.
Well, I tell you what, Ed, the longer they wait on this, Trump is literally going to take it to court and say that,
But why are you
waiting
taking
on
it to
this.
court? Why take it to court? You have no reason to take it to court. There's no reason.
Because they're waiting so long.
But they
That's-
decided this before the mail-ins even came in, that this is the day. So, like, what's the problem?
It's weird because this is the first time they're
No,
implementing
I
it,
understand that, but, like,
It's
they
all
allowed
weird,
this.
dude. This is the weirdest election.
They
I've ever
allowed.
witnessed, honestly.
They said if the mail-in ballot is dated November 3rd or before.
The problem is they are coming in non-postmarked. You understand that, right?
What do you mean non-postmarked?
When you go to the bank and you have an post office, right? And you have a bill that's due on October 1st and you're paying it on September 31st, right? 1 day in advance. You know it takes a week to get through the mail, right? You get that.
But so you're saying
You have it postmarked on the post office saying I gave it to you, that I received this on October 31st, so that when it gets to where it's going, they can't say it's late. You understand what I'm saying? They're saying these are coming in unmarked. That's where the whole discrepancy is coming. I'm not saying this is true. I'm not speaking against it or for it. I'm just saying the stories out there are that all of a sudden it's here you go, and they're like, what the fuck is it? And they open it and it's about, there's no date, there's no indication, address, nothing.
It just bothers me that, like, I honestly...
The whole thing's fucked. You shouldn't allow
I think-
mail-in anyway, because remember absentee ballots? You guys are aware of that,
But it's
right?
the
Like
same
if you're
thing.
out of the state, it's a similar thing.
It's
but
not the
how
same thing.
It can't be that thing. How many? You're telling me hundreds of thousands of people aren't in the state they live in?
No, it's not that. It's that they don't feel comfortable going to a
That is never. You have to apply for an absentee ballot. That
Yeah,
was for
that's
like
what I'm saying.
government. That's for like the army people who are in Kuwait that still get to vote because they have a residency in Pennsylvania.
No, but
I'm
you
just
can-
saying you should never have to do.
But
Mail-in stupid.
No, so my brother did a mail-in because he lives in Wisconsin and he did an absentee ballot for Raleigh because he never switched
I'm not arguing that.
to Wisconsin. But what I'm saying is, I have a really the problem I have is I feel like this is my prediction. This is my prediction of what's going to happen. Joe Biden is going to end up winning, but Donald Trump is going to take it to court
It
and
doesn't
end up
matter
winning.
anyway. No, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
And
He's
that's
not
my
gonna win in
problem. Is
court.
if he wins because he took it to court, then
He isn't going to win in court. It'll never.
Well, if he
they'll
takes
never
it-
allow it to happen.
no. If he
I
takes it
promise
to the
you.
U.S.,
No, he can take it to court.
It doesn't matter. It'll be unprecedented. If he does that and he wins, then it'll be fought from this day on. That election results are never real. Do you understand what I'm saying? The world can't let him win that. They will never.
That's
let
what
him.
I'm saying.
He can take it to court and appeal it all fucking day. But come
I just
January
think-
1st, Biden will be in office if Biden wins.
I just think like
I'm just telling you.
yeah, I just think if he takes it to
January
court.
20th.
That's a massive conspiracy. You want to really
yeah,
stir
you want to
the
start a
stir the
civil.
pot?
You want to start a civil war.
That's a way
how
to
it's
do
out.
it. Yeah,
I agree.
I'm not saying that far, but
I
pretty
just
damn
think-
close.
Well, I just
We're already gonna have another civil war.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
already
you're
happened.
leading
It's already
in that
started.
direction. Yeah.
no. It's gonna happen whether or not Donald Trump wins. You're gonna see the Black Lives Matter movement start a civil war. If Joe Biden wins,
NRA.
you're gonna see the NRA come out, and
Blue
it's
Lives Matter, all
Yeah.
that shit.
Mhm.
it
There's no winning. But you can't tell me that it's these two human beings
Oh, this
that
is...
caused this problem. This
You
is
can't
all
tell me...
beyond this.
You cannot tell me these are the two best candidates
They're not going to solve it either.
we have for presidency. You cannot tell me these two... What are they, mid-70s?
Dude, no offense. I'll come back to this one, okay? I think it was last election. And people can make fun of me. I don't know enough about New York or New Jersey, okay? But there was one reason and one reason alone that I wanted New Jersey Governor Chris Christie to be the candidate for the Democrats, okay, or the Republican nomination. I think it was Republican. This dude, a national disaster happens, right? Hurricane Sandy came up and hit the East Coast, all right? Like the northern East Coast. You know they don't handle hurricanes up there. They don't get them, okay? So Jersey Shore, New York City, devastated.
Devastated.
So Chris Christie puts out a state of emergency, meets with Obama of the other party in current president, and puts out immediate relief for politics. Like, immediate relief. Fix the highways, get infrastructure back up, let's fund it, FEMA, get them in here, let's go. Immediate response. 3 years later, 2 years later, whatever, he goes up for presidential nomination, and they yank out that he closed the Jersey Turnpike so he could get somewhere real quick. And he dropped from the race because they annihilated him from it. It's so fucked what they put in front of your face as representation.
To me, like...
That dude put the economy back first. He crossed party lines to get shit done. And because he acted like a tar nugget for 5 minutes, you're going to say that he's a bad candidate for presidency? If that's how he reacts to disaster, put him in. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck?
It's just... so many people have such a...
Jaded opinion, some uneducated, jaded opinion.
To me, I don't know your views on COVID. I don't know. I know
I'm
this is
really funky with it. It's tough because I have friends and all my friends and family are mass New York, New Hampshire, right, which is where it started, and I'm down here in North Carolina in a city full of 500 people. So it's just I'm two different walks of life.
To me, I just truly think the way this COVID has been this pandemic has been handled is it's just, to me, how it's laughable.
I struggle with this, and anybody can argue with me. I've already had issues about this. It's no different than the common flu for me. It's not. It's no different than the common flu. It might be a little bit more deadly to those who possibly get it. That's fine. My biggest thoughts in North Carolina only, and my experience is living here. Okay, I'm not going to speak for the rest of the country. North Carolina, an hour south of Raleigh. Okay, small town, not a lot of population. People call into Roy Cooper during his state addresses, and they go, "Why can't it be county based?" Right? If we're gonna do mass, Raleigh is what 10 times more dense than Dunn, North Carolina. Yeah, it should be county based, town based. If you're in a city, you're gonna touch a lot more things. You're gonna interact with a lot more things than you are in farm field, North Carolina. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand.
I struggle with how it was handled all the way across the board, but I also think that from a scientific perspective, don't come at me about mass saving anybody's fucking life. It's a better idea. It's going to help, but it's a comfort. It's you see me with a mask, oh, I'm being safe about it. I'm better off putting Purell hand sanitizer all over my hands than I am to put a mask over my face.
So the whole thing with a mask is it's like, to me, it's all about, this goes back to me being better than you or me caring about random people. It's if you go to a store and there's old people in there and you don't wear a mask, that's just saying I don't give a fuck about these old people in here. And that's, to me, that's like saying fuck you. That's literally saying,
I understand your argument,
fuck you in the face.
But I'm going to come back at it from a counterpoint and say this, okay? Tell that to the guy who owns the shop, who's got 3 kids, that he's got to pay for their dinner, and he's made nothing for the last 4 months because you can't go into a store without a mask. You just stop going because why bother? It's an extra step for you. And now he can't supply his kids, and he's going out of business because he can't make that lease that they mandate every month because you're making it so people don't go in his store, or he's at half capacity.
This goes back to why the fuck can't you put a mask on for 5 fucking goddamn minutes?
I'm not arguing that.
No, I know, but I'm saying
tell me the science in. We go to Olive Garden. To walk to our table, you have to have a mask on. But when I get to the table, I can touch the table, I can touch the glasses, I can touch the silverware, and somehow you're not going to get infected by that.
Oh no, my opinion is
it doesn't make sense.
My opinion, we should be in a United States lockdown, but that's a whole different story.
I'm not arguing that.
That's a different story.
The lack of it's the same thing as education, and I know we're getting a little fired up here, and that's fine. I'm not knocking.
Yeah,
it. I'm not.
I
struggle with the logic, okay? Because if it's spread, it doesn't matter how it's spread. It doesn't. If it's sweat, if it's liquid, it's sweat, it's spit, it's everything. So why is it that if my mouth is covered, you're telling me all of a sudden, why is it that they have a state mandate that you can't be at a bar after 11? You're telling me the coronavirus sleeps? Like, some of these things just don't make common sense there, buddy.
Zero sense.
And that's not helping the general consensus.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
It's not helping. We're at a crossroads. Like, the problem I have is, when did masks become a political statement?
That's a double-edged sword. I don't wear them, Justin, because I don't believe. I truly don't believe it's any different than the common flu. I know a lot more people than people don't understand. I can name 3. I have a shit ton of family and friends that you wouldn't understand how many I have in New York, Connecticut, and all that. And of all my 8 uncles and cousins, my 20, 30, 40, 50 cousins and their kids, the exponential amount of people I know one person who is infected by this. One.
Okay, but
I refuse to believe it's some black plague where people are dying in the streets. Then, yeah, I know it sounds selfish and ridiculous. Then I'll wear a mask. I'm not ruining my neighbor's life as a hairdresser who can't get business because people are worried about passing something that may or may not happen.
But let me build on this. So like,
it's more of a sense of community. I don't know if I'm conveying it right. I'm just throwing in.
Let's just throw up dinner. You have to put on the mask to walk to the table.
Mm-hmm.
Your table's here. Where you have to wear the mask is here.
Right.
This is still the same air. So whether I breathe here or breathe here, the person
it's
over
still
here,
just as likely to be contagious.
It's still the same thing.
I just think it's.
But to speak on Justin's side, if everybody just wore a mask and everybody sanitized and we went on lockdown, you're eliminating interaction. And yes, you're absolutely right. It would be eradicated or it would be removed.
Like, to me, like,
but at the cost of no one making money. You understand that the only people making money right now are those who work from home.
I mean, this is going to go deeper into... We can go fucking down the rabbit hole.
This is a long
but to me, like, this goes down to the point where our government isn't equipped to handle a pandemic where we need to go into a lockdown for 6 weeks, saying you can't go outside, go get the food you need, go home, stay home for 6 weeks. Here's a stimulus check like Canada's doing where people are making $1,500 a month for 2 years because they were in lockdown for this long, and they were able to do that, and they're continuously making money each month to be able to pay for stuff. And to me, that shows how just not equipped our government is to handle any type of situation.
I want to encourage that and further that with the population, bud. Canada does not have the amount of people that they have to handle as much as we do. We have hundreds of millions of people that you need to tell to stay in their homes. It's never going to work.
That's the issue. Like, if that's another issue is why is if someone said you have to stay home, why can't you just listen to that person?
But there's a million ways it could have been solved that go beyond that too.
That goes along with like the news told you Osama was shot by a dolphin. You gonna believe that?
But it goes both ways too, though, because I'm gonna come back and say this too. You don't know. I don't know your situation. I'm not gonna even knock that.
Yeah.
But for most people, not in college, okay, remove that situation in life. You have a rent. Landlords still want their fucking money, bud.
That's what I'm saying.
So my whole point to you is, if they start from their approach should have been maybe like compensate banks and landlords only. But then I don't know if that's fair. You needed to eliminate home loans, insurance payments. You needed to get rid of bills for people,
that's
and
what
that
I'm
didn't
saying.
happen.
There's
but
a lot
you
of
talk
stuff.
about economy. That's what it is, and you're pumping hundreds of dollars. We already owe trillions in debt. You get that as a nation. So I don't know what the answer is, but I'm just saying, Justin, we're almost a year into this bitch. They can't tell you how it got started. They can't tell you how you're going to fix it. They can't tell you if it's scientifically proven that the mask or sanitization works. You don't. They've already done quarantine in New England, and they're still having outbreaks as we speak.
And well, that's the issue, because you look at like the flu, the simple flu. We have decades upon decades of research done on this
and that
virus.
might be what it takes. Are you going to close the world for decades? I just want to hear what you have to say. That's all.
You have decades upon decades upon decades of research where you can almost predict the vaccine, the next set of vaccines, so that you can become ready. This is a virus that is brand new to these scientists that are learning right now as we speak how this virus works. So whether or not, at the start they were like, oh, it spread this way. You know,
they have to learn.
They're learning as well how this works. So if they say it works, a month, 2 months later, it doesn't spread that way, it spreads this way. You know, they're learning how the virus works.
I'm not knocking that, but you're not taking that into consideration with your simple response. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're saying lock it down. And you don't even know what it is. You can't fix something that you don't know the problem is.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
if the car doesn't work and you have nothing to indicate what it is, you got to take that whole car apart.
But I think the issue, so I understand like lockdown is such a very like.
I'm not saying it's extreme. I'm saying it
is
requires
extreme.
a lot.
I agree.
around.
I agree it's an extreme thing, but I'm a very caring person about everyone, and I care a lot about the elderly people, and I understand how much more effective this or deadly this virus is towards older people with respiratory diseases.
I'm not knocking that,
Well,
I know this.
Let me ask you this first. So if me not wearing a mask, so if the way I see it, your mask, you're breathing your air, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So you're recycling your air.
Mm-hmm.
That's worse than breathing fresh air, normal air, all the way walking around. But even still, if the old people are they're rebreathing their own air, that's saving them. So whether I have a mask on, if these older people want to be safe, they put on a mask.
I'm not knocking that too, but this is a double-edged sword, and this does not go for every elderly. This is why this is so debatable, because there's no way to handle this. But my argument too is this too. No offense, if you have to inconvenience the elderly who are in homes or are on pension, they have no reason to truly leave their. Think about that for 10 seconds. The elderly truly have no reason to leave their home except for groceries. Okay.
Yeah.
You could argue that we don't, but most of the 20-something to 40-something, 50-something class are not in retirement. They need to work. They have bills to pay. Okay?
Yeah.
If you have to inconvenience that group of people, so be it. But my big thing is, too, is you talk about due diligence. It's almost the same with that cop interaction. How about personal responsibility? If you have an immunodeficiency disease, I have friends who are, and it scares the shit out of me thinking about that stuff. You don't go out. You don't take the risk. You don't go in high population. My friend has an immunodeficiency. She lived in fucking Boston, where it broke down. She went back to Connecticut, didn't interact with shit forever, and then she went back to Boston, I think, like a week ago. And I was nervous. I'm like, you're going to go back? Like, that's a hub, bro. Like, what are you doing? You have to have your own sense of realization. If you don't believe in it and you want to take the gamble on your life, we live in America. You can take that gamble on your own life. And I think that's your battle. And I'm not saying that's responsible.
And I think the issue is, like, you look at these people, like this is I think going to be like our last thing before we gotta head out of here soon. But you look at people. This goes back to I deserve it or whatever entitlement. If a business says you have to wear a mask to enter the store, and you don't,
but we never contested that.
They can refuse business to you.
Yeah,
but they're not going to.
But that is absolutely their decision, and they have. I've been to Virginia Beach, and they asked me to walk out of the store when I didn't have a mask. That's fine.
That's what
I'm saying, as a business owner, it's the same thing that I'm talking about with responsibility. If I own a restaurant, and I'm willing to take the gamble on my family's health and my employees' health, and they're willing to take the gamble and come in, I would offer that. You don't want to come to work? By all means, don't come to work. I can't pay. I don't have the money to pay you.
But would you keep them employed on your staff until...
You can't. Why? You're not working, Justin. Why would I pay you?
You're not paying me. I'm saying you keep me employed. So when I say I want to come back to work...
That's not how that works. I have to put... It's really, really hard for me coming from a family business and seeing the taxes and the money that shit costs to run and being okay with shutting businesses down. If you go to these towns, Justin, they can't afford their leases. You're not talking $1,000 a month like it is to live in an apartment. You're talking $10,000.
No, I'm not saying pay them. I'm saying you'd still
be, you know what I mean? Like when you come back, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, would you when I want to come back, would you allow me to have my job back?
That's a tough. It's a situational answer, because if somebody else came in and said, "I want to work right now," and I'm slammed and I need that money, I need that employee, your job's not going to be there when it comes back. People don't understand that either with this whole thing, right? Everybody went on unemployment, massive influx of unemployment.
Did you reject
to be furloughed? That means you're fired. Let me make that abundantly clear. You're not guaranteed a job.
With his money? Did you reject it with it? This man went out
and spent it all or something.
He spent it all on a gun. He bought a gun.
Everybody spent it. I spent my $1,200, but I work, so I know I was getting a check the following fucking week.
I didn't even get $1,200. I didn't make it because
I'm just saying, my brother's been on unemployment since March. That kid hasn't worked a day since March.
He was
making more than me at one point as a worker. I'm not knocking that. All I'm saying is, from seeing the perspective and understanding small business, is their needs trump the world's. Okay. I am going to worry about me and my family first as a small business owner before anybody in my community, before anything else. If I serve sandwiches and you are willing as a customer to come in and buy sandwiches that puts money and things up for my family and my community, then let's interact. I don't give a fuck what the government says. Like, I'm sorry. Now, if it's a black plague and you walk into my ring and I could die, then yeah, let's shut you. I haven't seen it, John. I don't see it.
But
I think you should have the right as an American citizen to make that decision.
I mean, I don't want to get into this argument.
Tough.
But
I'm not trying to be all fired
to
up.
me, if you see, you're looking at 200 and something thousand deaths from COVID-like symptoms. I'm not saying they're all from COVID. They're from people that presented these COVID-like symptoms. And the numbers from flu, from when we started tracking the flu, is barely more than this. So like each year, only a few thousand people die from the flu.
Is that accurate?
Look it up. I don't know, you have a computer.
Look up flu deaths per year.
I want the CDC. I want something reliable, and I'll do this year alone. I'll do it over the last 5 years. Flu deaths versus corona deaths. CDC.
There you go.
I don't know how to find this information.
Scroll up to the top where the numbers are.
So the completed test, you have total.
First of all, I'm going to go ahead and jump into this just by this demographic or this notation. I know people who have had falsified tests, so I don't give a fuck how much they say is infected. Let me start there, okay? That's a struggle. I know at least I know no one who's died from it or one person who's been affected, but I can tell you 4 to 5 people who have had positive tests who didn't even get screened. Okay, so that's off the rip for me, as you know, personally.
I can't tell you anything.
I just find that dumbfounding alone. Like, Remy told me about this in the car. You said your mom was written
my
as.
My mom took a test, or she didn't even take the test.
She showed up for one.
She showed up for the test, waited in the waiting room for 4 hours.
This is for NC. This is the NC.
North Carolina Department of. I don't know.
Let's just look at North Carolina.
Yeah.
Fuck everything else. But okay, so my mom went in. She waited in the waiting room for 4 hours. She had to go pick up my sisters or something. She had to go do something. Didn't take the test. She got a call a couple days later and said that her test came back positive. She never took the test.
So how is but according to this, that would be one positive.
So I can't comment on that. I can't say. To me, that blows my mind.
Knowing what I know, it's very, very hard for me to take a stance because the other thing, truthfully, okay, is your symptoms, all right? It's not out of the woodworks. I mean, they're the most... If you actually sit down and analyze the COVID virus, it is so widespread. Fatigue. What do you get fatigue with? Every ailment or issue you get, okay? So I die from fatigue or some other bullshit, maybe a couple other things, right? Headache, nausea, vomiting, loss of air, pressure, whatever. That's common in any other situation. And then on top of that, there have been reports, cannot speak to this firsthand, there have been reports that deaths, right, for like the elderly,
kind of just got put.
Car accident, and you may or may not have COVID.
So
these are so skewed numbers.
This goes back to.
Oh wait, hold on a second. Let's look up COVID symptoms versus flu symptoms.
Okay.
So
just for sake of argument,
my issue.
Justin, don't let me stop you.
My issue comes to. You're talking about all these like basic symptoms.
I'm saying this on paper when they say that it's a COVID death.
Yeah, no, I know. But
it's generic.
The flu is what are your symptoms of the flu? I've had the flu many times. Why are you clawing?
Everything that brings me to this site and I can't find it.
Go back and go to the top.
Fuck.
COVID versus influenza.
Go up.
I wanted to try to find a more trustworthy.
Go to the WHO. The WHO's fine.
That's a doctor website.
Yeah, that's a doctor website.
Oh, World Health Organization. I didn't know that's what it stood for.
How are COVID and influenza similar?
They're both respiratory disease, which prevent wide illness. Asymptomatic. That's another. You're sick, but you don't show it. So what? It's cancer. Like I don't understand that. My mind can't remember it. So, both viruses transmitted by contact droplets. I don't know what fomites are. Is that like feces? I don't know what the fuck that is.
I don't know what that is.
It really doesn't answer the question if I'm being honest.
But now look at how they're basically the same.
The speed of transmission is an important point of difference between the two viruses. Influenza has a shorter median incubation
time
period
from affected to appearance of symptoms.
And is shorter.
So basically,
you show symptoms faster with flu.
So
is essentially what they're saying. The influenza, you show symptoms
yes.
faster.
So if you get the flu, you see the symptoms in 3 days.
Right. Whereas
if you get
COVID, it could be 5 to 6.
a week.
That means the influenza can spread faster than COVID-19. Further, the transmission in the first 3 unless such a pre-symptomatic transmission.
But if you go back to that original website where it said how many deaths there were because of COVID this year.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was that number? It was,
For North Carolina, it was like 7,000 total.
no, it was like
It's
40,000
45.
deaths.
It might have been less. Okay.
Okay, 4,500.
Yeah.
Now, dude, 2019 North Carolina flu deaths. We won't count 2020 just because.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, it came in. Let's do 2018 for sake of argument.
Yeah,
Because it started in 2019.
2018.
So just for even being more legitimate about it.
2018
NC flu.
deaths. And you
Where would
can go either to
Who again?
I get go down, scroll down.
WRA, that's
go,
local
go to
news.
go to this one because that's from the D.
So flu deaths in.
Go scroll down. Past surveillance summaries. Go to 2018 to 2019.
So how many deaths?
It's. I mean,
What is
peak,
red
I
dead?
don't know what
Is
this
red
means.
dead? Is
I don't
week
know.
ending dates? Oh, jeez, this is a.
Oh, here we go.
Patients. Does that mean they died? I can't tell you.
I don't know what this means.
Just go back to the Google result. Just
For sake of argument, and this is WRAL, so it's
During
local
the
news.
during the 2018-2019, 208 flu deaths were reported in North Carolina, down from
400
to the 2017-2018, one of the worst officials. So of those 135 people ages of 65 or older were under the age.
5 were under the age of 18.
5 and 2018 flu deaths.
Now, that argument that it honestly points in your direction. I'm not knocking that by any means, but I mean, all I'm saying is 400 to 4,000.
Yeah, let's take. Well, even if you take away the 400 out of the COVID thing, that's still 4,000 people.
Right.
But that's 4,000 people of.
Could be car accidents.
What else did they have?
That's and I think that's the biggest problem, right? And that's my biggest issue is they're reporting. They have no
But
problem reporting a COVID death, but you don't know if it was a car accident. You don't know if they healed over dead. You don't know if it was respiratory. You
So
don't know if it was infection
Can
from
I
a
ask,
cut.
can I ask you both a question? Coming from people, you both kind of say like it's not that you don't care about it, you don't really.
It's not that I don't care. I'm not exposed to it.
You're not
So
exposed
it's hard to.
So
influence
to
it.
my question is, what is stopping you from just saying I'm just gonna follow the rules? I'm gonna
Wait,
wear a mask
you're
where I
not.
can.
You went to dinner with me tonight. Did I wear a mask?
Yeah.
I'm not. It's not that I don't do it, but I also am not going to go out of my way to complete it. If I go to the store, if I drive 10 minutes to the store, and I genuinely, you got to understand, these are cloth reusable masks. It's not like I can just grab one out of a pack, which I could, but let's keep in mind also that Walgreens or wherever I just went to, $30, 25 pack was like $30.
Yeah,
it's not cheap.
It's not cheap
Okay,
at all.
so I go to the store, I go out of my way, I spend money, I spend gas, and I get to the store, and Fred forgot his mask. Am I going to drive home, get my mask, come back, put it on for 13 seconds, get my package, and walk out? No. That's my problem. Is the lack of what I can see of devastation does not dignify me inconveniencing myself to that point. Now, if I have my mask and I am prepared, I will absolutely wear one. I came up to Raleigh tonight. It is a city. They're a lot more serious about this stuff. And it's a denser population. I brought my mask. I apply my risk accordingly.
So
let's put it this way. Hold on. So, me and you go to the grocery store all the time.
Yeah.
You see me not wearing a mask.
Yeah.
Even if I have it in my pocket, I don't wear it.
Yeah.
But that's just because I assess it as far as myself as a 21-year-old, pretty healthy. I don't have any pre-existing conditions.
Same here, truthfully.
Holy.
Did she poop?
Basically. Poop, but basically.
Yeah, she crop does. But,
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that you see me not wearing a mask. You wear your mask. I don't wear my mask, even if it's in my pocket. But that's just because, like, if I see somebody coughing, I'm putting it on.
But guys, we've hung out for months, day in and day out.
But
you interact with all your people. You interact with all your people. I interact with plenty of my people. Where are we running in? If this is such a devastating situation,
yeah, but let's.
if this is so economy ending and world ending, then why am I not seeing it? Why?
Well, even still at this point, so I don't wear a mask. You've seen me not wear a mask. But what stops me from, let's say, where does your mom go throughout the day? Does she go to work?
Yeah.
Okay, she goes to work. How many people is she around today?
She interacts with actually a lot of people.
Okay,
who probably have kids.
No, she works at a school.
Okay,
so that's even crazier.
That's even worse.
Honestly.
That's what I'm saying.
So
they just
with a lot of
started
people.
like Yeah, she interacts
But you
with
go
the-
home. Let's say you go home once a week.
You
What's
eat off
stopping?
the same plate as her? You
Yeah.
touch the same counters as her?
What's stopping you from getting it? If she were to pick it up from somewhere, you getting it and bringing it back here.
That's what I'm saying.
Me and you don't wear a mask in the house.
To me, so here's the thing. To me, it's all about me being, I guess, more like I guess I'm more humble and caring towards other people. So like, if my mom got it and she knew she had it, I probably wouldn't go home just because of the fact like I don't want to give it to Remy,
No
even
offense,
though.
Justin,
But
you
just
would have
that
already
research-
had it.
But that
You
research
wouldn't-
right
it's
there,
not
you
like
wouldn't
you're
know
gonna
you had
stop
it. She
it.
wouldn't know she had
Not
it for
for a week.
So let's say
My
she
point
picked
is,
it
if
up.
she comes out tomorrow, she says she has it. You don't know if you have it right fucking now, and I'm breathing talking to you.
So I guess like
It's a double-edged sword.
it is, and that's where the problem lies. No one knows what to believe.
But
no
this
one.
is why, I mean, it's funny that we had this kind of conversation. Like, it all ties together with the election
So-
and current status. It's all.
And
it's
so
just
here's
a lot, bro.
here's the thing. The CDC is supposed to be someone we can trust, right? If they're supposedly making all these lies up, who do we trust?
I'm not saying they're lying. I'm not saying this is fake. I'm saying it's overplayed.
No, I'm saying about the numbers. Like you saying, like the people testing positive that never even took a test.
I'm
That
saying
is
they
something.
don't know what it is, Justin. How can they tell what if you have it if they don't know what it is?
No, I'm talking about Remy parents getting tested positive for a test they never took.
He's not the only one. And my
So,
dad had
that's what
two
I'm saying.
people at
But
work
that's what I'm
that
saying.
did it.
That's what I'm
It's
saying.
not hard.
So how can we believe the CDC if this is happening?
I'm just saying because this is my point to you
Well,
exactly.
the
Because
CDC
if you look and you research this, you might have to do this on your own. I have not researched this. I as much as I act
when
like
the
I'm educated, I
CDC
haven't
is
seen
the
it.
most.
They said when they first started testing, when this first hit, and they first came out with these testing kits, it was assumed positive until proven negative that you had it.
That's the thing. Like
How can you
Yeah,
do
so
that?
you took a test and they sent you home and was like quarantined for 2 weeks.
Yeah, just in case. Just in
Just in
case, because
case.
we don't fucking know.
I agree with that.
I'm not saying I
Which that-
disagree
that's
with it.
fine.
I'm just saying
Yeah, I think it's.
But what's
I'm
it's
a lot.
hysteria.
I'm a lot on the side of better safe than sorry. So there's one thing to assume they have it, tell them to quarantine for 14 days, and then say, oh, I assume you have your test is positive. Go home. I'm not even gonna test you. That's completely different. Everyone should be tested in a fair environment. Fully up
They
the
can't,
nose.
they don't know what
But
it
let's
is.
look at it this way. Let's say I go to the hospital tomorrow. I get a COVID test. They're like, okay, we'll get your results back in 3 days. Go home and quarantine. I come in here. I lock myself in my room. Let's say it was just like allergies. I was, the weather changed.
The
so
problem
I just had a
is
cold for a couple
allergy
days.
symptoms, right?
But-
Fatigue, dizziness, that is exactly what these symptoms are. So he could have a severe allergy situation, and you think it's
Oh,
cold.
I've
You know
had
what I
this.
mean?
I've had this conversation with my mom because at school, if someone presents any symptoms, like when I say any symptoms,
A sneeze is a symptom. You
a
get
sneeze,
that.
they have to go. They either get sent home or they have a room full where kids that have symptoms sit until their parents
Yeah.
come. And so I asked my mom. I was like, I get migraines. Headaches is a symptom of COVID. At what point do you say, oh, the kid gets migraines, he's fine? Or do you play it safe and say, oh, he's got to go home since he got a headache?
Right.
That's a symptom.
But that's my point too. What's the easier one? Say he's got it just to be sure and make sure he doesn't touch anybody.
But like back
Think-
to what
you
I
got-
was
No, that's
saying.
what I'm saying. No, my mom. That's how my mom is. My mom was like, they got to send him home, and then you get a note from your doctor saying.
But
that
I'm
it's
just
a
saying
migraine.
that's going to skew every statistic you have.
100%.
But back to what I was saying. Like if I go to the hospital, they send me home. I'm in my room for 3 days. Come back, call me with the test back. Oh, you tested negative. But I still feel like shit. And then let's say 2 days after that, I feel fine. I come out of my room, whatever.
I'm going to really throw your brain for a teaser and just say this. I know a lot of people who truly believe they already had it. I honestly believe it. I had a business trip with my mother in Boston in December. She got violently sick.
Wait. I'm going to guess your mom's symptoms right now because I thought I had it in January.
We've all talked about this.
I had for 3
Nausea,
weeks.
vomiting.
No, never mind. I had for 3 weeks a terrible cough. When I say terrible cough, I was coughing nonstop. I went to the doctor's office. He was like, I've seen he was like, I've seen about 10 people with this. He gave me steroids, sent me on my way. I was coughing for about a month straight with just straight coughing. My kidneys and my ribs hurt so bad from just coughing nonstop.
Dude, when I was in Florida over Christmas break, I was shitting my brains out. I was coughing. At some points, I was coughing blood. There were little specks of blood coming out of me.
My mom was literally just like, she couldn't move. She was almost bedridden for 2 or 3 days. And then she was literally like throwing up. And then I don't think I got it. My dad did. And
so,
we flew to Boston through Logan Airport.
And so
Or my
you think
dad
about
did.
it.
Me and my mom came into Bradley earlier that week into Connecticut. But we had all the symptoms. Everyone around us was suddenly getting sick. Now, granted, it's flu season. It's fucking mid-December. It's like 20 degrees up there, if not less, you know?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But everybody got sick. All this comes out. I walk around and interact with everybody like I normally do. And I'm fine, and everybody I know is fine. I just... It's not that I don't want to help people. How long am I going to give into something I don't believe in? It's like asking a kid who doesn't believe in Santa to wait for him at night. It's just, that's what I'm not knocking you. I'm not saying it's not real. Yeah. Do not misconstrue that. I'm not knocking these people who have truly died due to COVID. It's out there. It's like the swine flu or H1N1 incident, I believe is the same thing. If you remember when that came out a while ago, that outbreak. Yeah. Things are new. Evolution is real. Things are going to change. I just don't believe, like, the English Black Plague, you walk outside and 7 dead bodies. That's a problem, okay? That's a real-life issue.
I should not laugh at that.
But you know what I mean? Like, in this comparison, I'm being a little humorous about it, but that is a issue. That is Ring Around the Rosie is a song about people dying instantly next to you. That is a problem. This, I don't see it.
So,
it's hard for it to be real.
Like, I'm not going to have COVID and come up and give you knuckles and you're not just going to fucking fall.
Yeah, I'm not going to be and then my lung comes out. It's just,
I guess,
and the people who have it, 90%, 99% of them go, I feel better now.
So to me, I guess, like, I want to help people as much as I can. You know, I want to do what I can to help as many people as I can. You know, that's the field I'm going into. I'm going into human resources where I help people. And so to me, like, that's just the type of person I am. I will do what the government's telling me to do to be as safe as possible for other people. I will always respect that.
I'm not disrespecting you. Now, again, I wear my mask when I feel it's necessary. Am I the most educated and perfect medically? No. I'm just, when I get a densely populated area or a high-risk situation, I will wear my mask. Until then, I don't see the issue. I've lived my life since February reserved, not shut down, but reserved and intelligent about who I interact with and how I interact with them. And I just don't...
Yeah, like when me and Justin go to Food Line to get like a couple groceries.
If I go into a stacked Walmart, I'm wearing a mask. Any high volume situation, no, I don't want to put anybody in that situation. I want to put me in that situation.
But what I'm saying
But when I'm in a store with one dude and he's 80 feet away from me buying something at a fucking hardware store, do I need to wear my mask to get outside at a gas station? No.
No, you don't.
These are the things that are not relative.
When me and Justin go to Food Line, and I've never seen that Food Line have any more than like 30 people in it.
Yeah, there's never a lot of people in it.
I'm not, but all I'm saying is that you can't tell me, like, that was my big issue with Roy Cooper. That's why I didn't vote for him as North Carolina governor. You can't tell me it's not a case by case scenario. It absolutely is. Are there any deaths and let alone people hospitalized in Dunn, North Carolina because of this? If they are, I'm not aware of it, and if it is, it's probably a small number.
Yeah,
it is a 1,000,000% relative. I am not going anywhere near New York City. I'm not.
Me and Remy.
Battleground Zero.
Bro, have I
gone up north?
Have you
no,
watched?
I still changed my lifestyle.
Let me ask you a question.
But accordingly.
Have you watched any action movie ever in mankind?
New
York?
Yeah.
LA? You're getting fucked.
Done.
LA? You're getting fucked.
Fuck out of there. That's it.
We've decided we're never going to do
in Miami.
We're never going to fucking Paris.
There's never
Paris is bad.
There's never like you watch all the Avengers. Where did it take place?
Yeah.
New York.
Tokyo. Fucking big one. Moscow. All your big major cities.
Yeah, we're not going.
London, fuck you, London.
We're not going, bro.
Keep your COVID asses out of here.
No, it's not even about COVID. It's about something like...
it's even worse. Godzilla. I'm pretty sure attacked Tokyo, too.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you are not going to see me in these parts of the country because I've seen too many movies of where shit goes down in these parts. And, you know, I just don't want to end up in the wrong place.
It's got to come from somewhere.
I just want to end up in the wrong place at the wrong time, and shit hits the fan when I'm there. You know, I think if shit hit the fan, I would be one of the first to die.
Tying it back to
that's just
everything
how I
up.
feel.
We're coming up on a fucking 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
fuck you guys.
You gotta get off.
Just wrapping everything back. Ringing in your argument. I'm not knocking COVID. I'm not. All my situation is. Live life to your accordance and live life to what's around you. Be aware of if you live in New York and you go outside, you're a fucking dummy, okay? But if you live in
Buffalo,
bumfuck Egypt, Alabama, where the town limits have 7 people, walk around, have fun, go buy some juice. I don't fucking care what you do.
Go kiss each other.
Unbelievable. Use your head, okay? Everyone's responsible for their own well-being. Everybody has a right to be their own human being. Be cautious of those around you and be smart. That's it. That's it. When do you want to end it? Any final notes? Remy's final note for this thing before I hit the end button.
I think we're solid.
Do I literally just hit the end button? That's
Yeah,
it?
you literally just.
All
All right, guys,
End
like,
button,
subscribe.
end
You
button.
know,
Smash
that like
all
button.
these people who watch this shit, even though it's just gonna be me tomorrow.
Hit
Whatever.
that subscribe button. You know,
Comment for topics for us to hit.
End and mute.
End and mute. I don't know. Do I mute first?
no, hit.
Get in there.